Up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
The whole system is designed to disconnect you from your intuition. Why? Disconnected people are easy to manipulate. Everything from sunscreen to politics to the food industry. It's all designed to disconnect and manipulate you. We are in the middle of a war right now, but it's not a traditional war. It's a war on consciousness. It's a war on freedom. This is the time to listen, not to the news. No, your intuition, your gut, your heart. Love is the greatest weapon against darkness. How do you love more? You begin by loving yourself. How do you love yourself? You listen to the messages your body is telling you.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination in the International Fake Station. We're up here cruising along here, hoping we don't hit any drones or UAPs or motherships, for God's sake. We don't want to hit any of those things up here. Something Wong is absent from his post. I'm going to have to summon him through the space intercom. Perhaps he's out doing an extravehicular activity tonight, looking around. Or maybe he got beamed up by the fucking drones. Who knows what the hell is going on? This shit is crazy as hell. I got a couple of guests waiting to come on already. We've got a bunch of great people in the audience tonight. Saddlebum, Edwin Johnson, Gene Edited, Lisa Marie Tattersall is here with us too. Mamma mia, Lisa, we love you to death. Tony Coriolis, we got Gene Edited, Edwin Johnson, Rico's Tinfoil Sombrero. Good to see you, my man. Gene Edited, Tony Coriolis. Don Coriolis is with us here tonight. Let's see, Saddlebone, we got that one. We're going through Mojo Shop, Boston Guy, Who else we got in here? Tommy, tell the truth. Have not seen you in a long time, my friend. Anyway, we started early tonight because I've got a job early tomorrow morning. We got rained out yesterday, finishing doing some underpinning on a trailer, and I have to get up and go and help do that tomorrow. So without any further ado, we're going to talk about the UAPs, or whatever the hell they are. Why is the FBI investigating something that the military or the Office of Naval Intelligence at the very least should be looking into? What's going on? They seem like it's no big fucking deal. You know, I got yelled at because I went just a smidge over the Canadian border in an airplane one time, and they told me, "Oh, you'll be forced back if you do not turn." Okay. They're going to, oh, it's a drone? Never mind. Fuck it. Might be from Iran. It's okay. It's all good. Anyway, let me welcome up to the panel here tonight. We got Laurie is here with us. What's happening, Laurie?
What's up, man?
Mr. Ironworks himself, Vlad. Vlad, what's happening, my man, brother?
Lowry, Saab, what's going on, family? How y'all doing?
Oh,
good,
man.
good.
Fantastic.
All right.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
You got a busy week.
Yeah.
Busy weekend, Vlad. You're on tonight, and you're on Saturday with Weiss and the gang, and then you're on Sunday on the Sombrero.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
You're a busy boy.
But yeah, a little bit. But you know what, man? With the holidays coming up and it being the weekend, I just carve up the time, so I'm good for it.
Right on.
Well, we got two big channels that aren't going to be on, you know, for at least through the weekend and all. And that's going to be Jaron's channels. Now, you know, he's not doing nothing except for, you know, maybe updates and shit from down there if he can. And of course, Witsit down there too.
But
Yeah.
Saab, you could be on. Saab, you could be on holding it down.
It might be. Listen.
Yeah.
You know that Toon, McKeegan, and Duffy all took a direct flight and showed up a whole day early.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
Before everybody else.
Why didn't they go together?
I don't know, man.
It's probably just as well for the mental health of our gang to not be on the same plane and not be in the same spots with them as much as possible.
Yeah, right.
But I'm saying, in order to keep things kosher, in order to keep things honest, you figure, and I hear what you guys are saying, but I so don't trust them that them flying separate like that. I'm like, already, you might as well just scrap this quote unquote experiment, because that right there just looks like it's being done in bad faith. I don't know.
Yeah, down there a little bit early. I think they're taking the final flight together. I think there's 200 seats on the plane. There's only like 17 on the plane. So I've been like, this has been me the whole time. Like, the real experiment is the social experiment going on between those guys and our guys hanging out together, and what happens when that happens. I mean, they're wearing body cams, so like, there's probably a whole, episode just with that, not even counting, the observation of the sun and all that stuff. So yeah.
True.
No, man, it's I got a picture. Hang on. Of they put it on I don't know, I guess it was posted on Telegram. Let me see.
Was that the group picture of them down there?
Yeah, it's Argentina, I guess, got to have their own little Pride Festival today. Here's a photograph of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought McKeegan was wearing shoulder pads. Yeah.
I thought you were serious.
These two. Now look at this is probably like one of the rare times anybody's ever been able to see these guys from below the neck.
Yeah, right.
Is it what you expected?
Does Duffy have his little fluffy boots on already? It's like he's ready to get this now.
His mucklucks. He's got it on his mucklucks.
Wait a minute. Isn't FTFE supposed to be there as well?
I don't know, man. I don't know if he was going or not. He's just, I think he's probably barred from any kind of public transportation like that because he's a lunatic, I mean, they got his ass on some serious TSA lists, you know? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Mhm.
So what do you think here now? Here's
Oh
what's been
boy.
going on, right? We've been hearing since the 3rd. Well, it really picked up on the 3rd. People were making sightings before that, but it really started picking up. And it was around the time as that web bot had predicted that this would happen by December the 3rd, some kind of an alien invasion. Now we're seeing it. Since then, here we are, what, the 11th was, 8 days past that date. And now we're seeing people posting videos of fleets that they're seeing of these things in the sky, doorbell cameras that are
Right.
showing them coming right in their freaking yards and shit, man. And I'm like, what is going on? Now I'm thinking, there's going to be a degree of fake ones, but then when I'm seeing the same shit from the several different people, from different angles and shit, then I start to wonder. Now we know it's not outer space aliens or anything like that.
Yeah.
I suspect it's very terrestrial and very well known. My biggest fucking question is this: why is the FBI the ones investigating it? Why is it not the Office of Naval Intelligence? Why is it not the Air Force itself or the military in some capacity? Why are we not shooting these fucking things down? Look, I flew accidentally one time when I was a kid. My dad's friend had an aircraft, right? He had a Beechcraft Bonanza, and he took us up in his plane one night, and we were flying over Detroit, and he said to me, he says, "Go ahead, you want to fly?" And I was like, "I can fly." He says, "Yeah, go ahead." And he showed me what to do, and he says, "And if you want to bank, here's what you do." And I was doing it, and so I banked over, and I went to the left, and all of a sudden they came on. I was over the Detroit River, and this thing came on and said that I was violating Canadian airspace. I must turn immediately or I'd be forced down and shit. And so I had to turn back toward Michigan. And that was just a private plane. Now, these are supposedly unknown. They're throwing stories that they're from Iran, which I'm like, yeah, sure they are. Right. Okay.
There's so much in this, guys. Like, there's so many sub-stories to sub-stories. Like the F-16 fighter can respond to any place in the United States. I want to say within, like, correct me if I'm wrong, with like an hour or less, maybe 30 minutes or less. So like that was the whole, the thing that happened in New York, in 2001. There was a lot of time to respond to that. They didn't do that. The same thing with this stuff, like either the balloons or the drones that are coming in that are from Iran or whatever.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you brought up the balloons.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So these motherfuckers shot a Sidewinder at a balloon and shot it down, right? Okay. You could have just flown by it in a biplane with a pocket knife and took it down, for Christ's sake. But no, they shot it with the fucking $1 million Sidewinder missile, right? But now we got these things deliberately over military bases, deliberately over places of sensitive nature, following reporters and agents home and appearing over their houses and shit. And it's like, wait the fuck a minute. Why are you not shooting shit? Why are you not shooting at these things? Why are you not at least going up there and trying to engage with them?
It's curious, right? It's curious. So it's like, so if they're not engaging it, that means they're letting it happen. And then one of the other very simple things on the simplest level is a lot of these things they're seen over at least Jersey and in Brooklyn, allegedly. Now, I have not seen them with my own eyes up here, but it's been coming in from like just over the river and in South Brooklyn. They all have lights on them. So they want you to see that. They're not really trying to hide it, And so like if you look that way, they look like drones to me, or some version of drones, but they're definitely wanting to be seen. So it's weird to me. It's like, if you know that, like, if Iran has a mothership in the ocean sending drones in, you know what? Most of us could take out a shotgun and shoot them out of the sky. Well, these are car-sized drones, allegedly, but they're probably not that hard to like shoot at. So like, what is it then, guys? So they start talking about it. The narrative starts happening. Well, it's Iran. Well, it's like this. Well, it's like that. And then they basically mix up and muddy the water between, in my personal opinion, other tech that has always been here that mixes kind of in with these stories and confuses everybody as we move along. And now you've got this big hogwash of bullshit between drones and like tech that we don't understand. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're all right.
Yeah,
I don't have the right screen.
Oh, you want to know something? Like if you hit the nail right on the head. Like I'm looking at it on these news reports, and you see these blinking lights, and I'm like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, those are the important starboard lights. Every airplane has them. I
Yeah,
was
it looked
like,
like
those
it
are
to me
left and
too.
right. I was like, come on, man. I was like, come on, man. This is a regular airplane. Now that's one. Two, there should be some kind of protocol, right? You have a IADS, which damn near every single nation, every single place that has people on it has some form of integrated air defense system. We have probably the most robust integrated air defense system in the universe, in the known
Dude,
universe, right?
the NYPD has surface to air missiles. We know this in
Thank
the
you.
city. Just the police department, it's just like, you can watch one of those things explode it near a drone and it knocks out 30 of them. So it's
Yep.
like I just like this whole story is getting so convoluted, but you know how they work with information is like to mix certain truths and certain lies, and they confuse it, they
Yep.
cloud it up, and they turn it into a news story to where everyone's so confused they don't understand what's happening or what they're looking at, and so they just run to the nearest authority source and obey, basically, right?
And think about all these guys. Think about everybody here. I've got a drone. I've got my own drone, right? I've got my own, drones. That's it. Think about all the people that are drone savvy that should be flying their own stuff just to see these things, right?
Okay,
Just to see
listen.
these.
People have tried and their fucking drones won't lift off. Just like if you're a licensed drone person, if you get in a
Yeah,
restricted
part
area, the
107.
fucking thing will shut it down and they can't get
Right.
their drones to lift off. Yeah. And also about the lights you were talking about, right? I've also heard and saw some video where these things are morphing into an airplane and then into something else. I mean, they are literally, some of these things are looking exactly like Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel. That is actual what an angel would look like, or even a fallen angel. I don't know, man. But what Laurie was talking about why, just shoot one down. I guess they did. This is what this one said.
The fuck is that, fool? Boy, that shit dropping on Earth, nigga. Whoa! Nah! Hey, bro, it's gonna start shaking. Hey, bro, that might be a plane, fool. But that might be a plane, gang.
It looked like it wasn't
Boy,
traveling
what the fuck?
maybe it's a distance that it didn't look like it was dropping fast enough. Like it was partially
What
powered.
the fuck? Damn, I wish I had my.
So I don't know, man.
That reminded me of. I didn't see that one, but what it reminded me of was like it was falling. It felt like it was still powered, but it was falling a little slower than unless it's at distance, I guess. And then you have that to deal with. But like it felt like it was falling in a controlled speed, as opposed to like out of control. Maybe if it's spinning or whatever it's doing, it's
or if it was extremely high. Now, another problem with these things being regular drones, like you were saying, is that these things are staying up way too long for that type of mode of hovering and shit and just being there for a battery. The thing would have to recharge. There's no way. And these things, I mean, they're the size, some of them are the size of a fucking minivan.
Yeah, and a lot of people in Jersey are actually they're kind of coming to their senses to at least how to observe it properly, and like they can do their little thumb tests, and maybe they're all learning perspective in their own little way over there. But it's like well, it's this big, and it's like it must be like at least the size of a small car or something like that, right? But either way, they're not trying to hide. So there's a show going on here at some level. It's either because I've seen there's a commercial out there with actually they've developed the actual drone car. It's out there. I mean, I've watched the video. You can purchase them. They're really expensive. There could be a bunch of these people rich people have purchased their own drone vehicle, and they're lit up like they're supposed to be lit up, but they haven't licensed them. They haven't gone through the FDA or anything like that. They're just because they're rich. I don't know.
That's a stretch, though, man. That's a stretch. Because, I mean, look, they would be able to figure out where the signal to it is coming from, all that shit.
Right?
Yes.
No
there would be a ground link. Not just that. These things that are made by us, they give off a signal. They give off a particular signal, right? And I'm not even going to talk about the frequency range, but I mean, they're pretty detectable once you're in the know. And so we should be able to spot these things from like a mile away. All you need is a basic receiver, because these things transmit all the time. So I'm sure they're getting some that don't have those tools.
This is Chicago last night, supposedly.
Yeah.
Like, look how nuts the sky looks right now. Look how busy it is. You're gonna tell me that not one of those is a UFO? There's so many. Like, look how.
I mean, that is a lot. I mean, if somebody who lives there is noticing an increase like that, it's not just airplanes. This, I don't know. It said this was 7 hours ago. Are the military trying to shoot down UFOs, UAPs, drones, whatever the fuck they're called? We just call them UFOs. All right.
Yeah,
and then everybody thought you were. Now, see, let me tell you something, man. 30 years ago, if you was talking about UFOs and trying to be credible, you were a fucking lunatic, tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. Now it's like a mainstream thing. Most people think of it. They go, oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's all due to that goddamn ancient aliens bullshit.
Right.
Zachariah Sitchin. And who's that guy? Klaus von Doniken.
Yeah.
Mr. Papadopoulos or something like that. That Greek dude.
And I had
the hair guy.
I had my whole all the UFO over all the years. I went through all of those sections, all of the books and everything else, and I was certain that they were right, certain that everything else. But when you know about predictive programming, you know how that works over the course of generations. You know, you place these things at certain time points over time until you've developed the unnatured mind to believe that this is actually real. And but I've been able to reformulate what some of this stuff is, especially, since FE in 2015, a lot clicked into place as far as what I feel about UFOs. And I just think there's tech here that we don't get to have.
Oh, sure.
And it's either offshore, or it's in our own country.
They got everybody chasing their tails in the entire goddamn physics community because they're chasing their tails with all their shit based in some kind of a goddamn myth about mass attracting mass.
Yeah.
And they just fucking beat that into their head so they believe it. And consequently, they have to fucking have it. They'll go nuts without that shit. And they stay at a standstill. They don't realize once you get the fuck away from that, you can see the possibilities of harnessing the actual way things work for your own benefit.
Yeah. And for me, I'm looking at it. I'm like, how would I do it if I had all the tech? Like, how would I do it? And what I would do is confuse the shit out of everyone and mix regular life drone tech that everyone knows about with stuff that's unexplainable, and also with AI, until it's so cloudy that you can't make a proper determination. So you just give up. You just give up and appeal to authority. And I see that happening. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here's one, guys, and it's got a close-up picture too of one of them. Look at that fucking crazy shit.
Wow.
It's something about him shooting him down. Now, I know that some senator or something started bitching and yelling about. Did anybody catch that live shit where the FBI was briefing Congress and shit on the?
I've watched every single congressional hearing I've watched about UFOs in the last 20 years, and it's always the same thing. They always plead ignorance.
Yes, we've had these congressional hearings in succession for the last 2 to 3 years. And notice the most recent one that they had right before this nonsense starts happening. So I'm like, man, come on, man. This is all done by design. I'm like, anytime I see this UFO nonsense, I'm like, this is by design. Then they want to blame Iran. I'm like, no, can't blame Iran, because now we've got this Syria nonsense. Like, I pretty much see what I think they're trying to do, right? They're trying to say, oh, it's Iran.
This might be a good time. We're not saying that this is where the conversation goes, but maybe, do you want me to play Werner von Braun's assistant as a baseline for a narrative?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to? I can present it.
Put it on the thing. Meanwhile, while you're getting that ready, let me show you something that happened in Victoria, Texas, a couple of hours ago. This is kind of crazy. An airplane had to land on the highway, man. Check this shit out.
Oh yeah. That's what those highways are there for.
Yeah,
Oh.
wait. The fat lady ain't saying yet.
Holy fuck.
Oh shit.
All right.
Oh fuck. Oh no.
Yeesh.
Oh no. I hope they wore their seatbelts.
All right.
Man. Yeah, highway's a good place to land, but not if there's an overpass.
Here's a little trivia, a bit of trivia for you on the design of
Nobody else?
the interstate highway
Stay there?
system.
Yeah.
It had to be designed with certain sections that were long enough for planes to land on in World War II.
That's right.
They set it up that way.
That's right.
And, you can probably confirm this, Saab, but I heard this from my granddad who was served in World War II. He said you had to have, especially in Kansas, there were lots of runways that were also interstate highways. So like that's one option if you're a pilot to do that. Now they're always suggested to go to a field away from people, but if you have a chance to land on an interstate, they try it. But like I mean, I don't know. It's weird that they with traffic on there that the pilot chose to do that. I guess it's weird to me, but whatever.
Yes.
There's in New Jersey.
Yes.
There's in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck, man? I'm waiting for some shit to happen here, but see, I don't think that where I live is strategically important.
No, you can see more stars out there. You ought to get a hold of some night vision, actually, Saab.
Well, I could if they'd quit being fucking cloudy.
Yeah. The Gen 1s. The Gen 1s are the ones that you want. The Gen 1s are the ones that I think it's the Gen 1s or the Gen 5s actually. One of the two.
Yeah.
I've got night vision binoculars.
Yeah, I mean, like that's like
Right.
that's on my wish list to like go out to like, especially in the American Southwest, and like look at look at the sky, because there's a lot of stuff going on out there we don't know, and I have so much to talk about. This needs to be a part 1 of like part 4. So just FYI.
Oh, there you go. You got it. Great.
Yeah. So this is we're just because of what Werner von Braun put on his tombstone, and because she's confirmed that she was his assistant. This is a good place to start from as far as narratives are concerned. So it's just 2 minutes. This is his assistant.
Mark Sargent.
Yeah,
Mark
and
Sargent is doing this.
Carol Rosin.
And most
he
people
says, Gen 1 is fine. It's more than adequate for the sky. Awesome.
Yeah, and
Okay.
most
I don't know. I should try I have night vision binoculars. I should try those because I can focus in and out, or zoom in and out with them.
Yeah, and I have something to say about it after this, but this is kind of just a narrative builder just to start the conversation with, because everyone probably in this conversation is watching tonight.
We'll maximize it and play it.
Yeah, got it. Here we go. And
make it big.
In 1974
That's what she said.
to 77, I met the late Dr. Werner von Braun in early 74. At that time,
Hey, guys.
von Braun was dying of cancer, but he assured me
Pause
he would
that for a
live few more
second,
years.
Molly.
yeah. What's up?
Guys, I'm in New Jersey right now. I'm looking in the sky right now. And
Okay.
I don't know if what I'm looking at is a beam from the ground shining up in the clouds, but there's a lot of activity. I'm going to look to service area.
Pull
All right,
over.
I'm going to stop right here. Wow, this is real time. It might be right now. Hold on. Let me.
There's
I'll
traffic
tell you.
choppers. Well, no, it's 8:58, so traffic choppers are probably finished right now.
I mean, I can look on the.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. I'm at a service area. Give me a second. I'll tell you right now exactly where I'm at.
The exit number.
Service area. Yeah, I'm on a 95. And it's wow, it just so happens I'm in Jersey and I'm looking up and around as we're talking about this, and I just spot this thing. Hopefully,
Can you give us the exit number, or like because Nicole can check flight status. So like we can check against that.
I'm looking at I'm at the service area. Usually these service areas got a name, you know what I'm saying? So Vince Lombardi service area. I'm at the Vince Lombardi service area right next to Giants. Yeah, right next to Giants Stadium. So you know where I'm at. Okay, so I'm about to look up as soon as I stop. Oh man.
Now they froze his ass. Look
All
at-
right. So, Vlad, just keep
boy.
keep going when you get
Yeah,
it. When you get something, let me
I
know.
keep looking.
All
Yeah,
right.
you got it. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I just saw some stuff, but yeah, keep playing it.
All right,
All right.
right on. Right
So,
on.
no, here we go. Werner von Braun's assistant.
Years in order to tell me about the game that was being played. That game being the effort to weaponize space, to control the Earth from space and space itself. Von Braun's purpose in life during the last years of his life, his dying years, was to educate the public and decision makers about why space-based weapons are a dumb, dangerous, destabilizing, too costly, unnecessary, unworkable, undesirable idea. The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. We were told that they had killer satellites. We were told that they were coming to get us and control us, the dirty commies, that whole story. First, the Russians were the enemy against whom we're going to build space-based weapons. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids. Now, at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol,
right,
the
I'm right
last
here.
card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons.
hit the
I don't know if
pause
you
there.
guys can hear me.
And all of it.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
said, is
Pause
allowed.
that, Lowry.
Yeah, okay. So I see it right now.
Oh, yeah.
So right now I'm facing northeast exactly. Like there goes the New York City skyline right there. I don't know if you guys could see it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So now right there is where I'm seeing these lights. They might be from the ground, but right now the camera is facing northeast exactly. So you'll see the sky light up every once in a while, and it's time. I'm trying to see what the
Are you talking about that orange light right there?
No, to the left. No, that orange light is a lamp. That's a street light.
Okay, what's that orange light?
Sky light up. That orange light is a lamp. That's a street lamp.
Okay.
So we're waiting for the sky to light up some more. So it's not a consistent light either. It's not consistent. So I was waiting for like that. There it is. You see them through the clouds.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Over the left.
Yeah,
Over the left a little bit.
Yeah, so you see them.
It's almost like maybe it's lightning.
No, it's not lightning.
No?
Looks like something is shining in or around the clouds. And I was trying to say it's an airplane, but they're too consistent behind each other. So right in front of us is the Vince Lombardi complex right there. And my camera is facing northeast exactly.
Okay.
So you could see it. So at least I could see it right above the rooftop. Let me see if I can move to the left. Hope I don't get hit by a car.
Yeah, I don't want you to get hit by a car neither, bro. Be careful. Watch where you're going. Wonder how many people are getting walking into shit looking up at this stuff, man. You know? Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So right behind me, right there, up in the sky. Hopefully you guys could see it, but I see it. There it is.
I think
right
I
over
think
there.
the light Oh, and I'm getting an echo now.
Sky just lighting up like crazy. Right there, yep.
Oh, I just saw something. Yeah. I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it.
And I'm getting an echo.
And I'm getting an echo.
Weird.
Yeah, I was getting an echo.
Yeah, I was getting it.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been on mute, so like it wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys could hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
so
got you.
right there, I don't know if you guys saw it. But the sky's just lighting up right there from the Vince Lombardi. Let me see if I could get I could give you an exact marker as to where I'm at. I could give you an exact coordinate.
You're directly east or directly west over the Hudson River from Midtown Manhattan is where you're at.
No, upper,
Or
a little bit uptown.
We know exactly where you're at. Like we've traveled that one many times. That's where they're seeing a lot of them. They're seeing them in northern Jersey, which like echoes the whole War of the Worlds thing, stuff, which was like, it was all based in like Jersey. And then we had some in above South Brooklyn that people were in, but they still had lights on them. They still had lights. And I was like, well, clearly they want to be seen, And so like, it goes back to like my position. It's like the whole muddying the water, turning like some human stuff again and some tech that we don't understand and muddying up the whole story until nobody knows what's going on. I'm looking at some of them, like one of them clearly looked like an airplane,
Yeah.
like one of the pictures I saw, I was like that. Well, it looks like an airplane. It's showing its lights. So like, and that led me back to like, well, is this a personal drone or some tech that's like a millionaire bot and he's trying it out? And like, but again, like you have to file flight plans to fly over the densest city in the world, and like,
well, and they have jammers. They have like these jammers that will make your fucking drone come down, right?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these people have tried to send up their own drones and they can't get them to lift off.
Yeah.
So something's going on. This is a clear image of a drone or UAP or whatever you want to call it, captured by a professional photographer using a Sony A7 IV 600 millimeter lens over Little Egg Harbor in New Jersey.
Yep, I know exactly where it's at.
Let me show you what he got. This is kind of cool. Okay.
What?
Time. I try to zoom.
That is weird.
Drone.
Okay. According to Flight Radar, there are no flights that are going over that area right now. Nothing is routing out of JFK or Newark going that way. The only thing
208. And I'll show you the drone right now. Up in the sky.
Yeah, those lights are still there. Hopefully, let me point right at them.
You know what you ought to try to do, Vlad, is get further down the road if you could find a darker pull off. And
I see him. I see him.
Okay, so
wow.
that to
you
me just
right?
to me. I saw 5 of them go by. So
that looks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, 8, 9,
that looks
11, 12, 13.
That reminds me of ground-based advertising lights. That's just me.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's what I was thinking. I was like, it might be from the ground, but I'm seeing these lights pointed right at. That's why I wanted to give exactly where I was at, and exactly what I'm pointing at. You know what I'm saying? So then that way, if anybody's in the area and they're familiar with this stuff in the sky, because I come to New York all the time. I go through New Jersey every time I go to New York, and I've never seen this before. I haven't seen this before. So
the advent of really strong flashlights and really strong like lights. Remember back in the day when you'd open up a new business and someone would basically rent a spotlight. I remember the first time I saw it and I was just completely baffled. I was like, whatever. And then you go down to the business and they actually have this spotlight spinning around and like whatever. That's what that reminded me of. That's not to say that there's not stuff up there because people keep reporting it every night. I got a buddy I actually should talk to who lives right in the heart of where all this stuff is seeing. And like, they're all sending kind of the same videos. They look like drones to me. They look like drones, most of them. And then you get the weird ones where you're like, is that AI? Is this some bullshit? Is this like, Like what is this thing? You got that one Ring camera thing. That one was really bizarre, but like, you know, we got AI working on overtime right now, creating all sorts of shit that we don't understand. And
Yes.
like as much as I want to have a one of these triangular shaped things to drive around for my own, these anti-gravitic devices. I want that, but I'm trying to fight against this thing. It's like, well, that tech probably does exist, but I don't get to have one, right? But it probably is out there. But all this mixture of drone narrative mixed with, mysticism, mixed with Hollywood bullshit over the last 60 years, it's going to turn into this maelstrom of bullshit that everyone's just going to eventually go run and put their head in the sand. There you go. That's my rant.
Well, check this out.
Exactly.
That's supposedly a magnification of the sound.
It was harmonizing.
Yeah, I bet if you slowed it down,
Hold on,
bet if you slowed it down, you would get something crazy.
It's harmonizing.
Yeah, it is. That last one sounded like
Slow it down.
That one sounded like a bee.
Yeah.
And you know how bees
like a beehive,
fly?
huh?
Bees
Yes.
make this resonant frequency around them.
That makes that little that makes that comb shape. Yeah.
This is where is this from?
Let me go to the post. It says at least 50 drones in this video, all in one place. The truth is out there. Stay tuned for more. And this is they took all of them and put the different sounds together. So I don't know, man.
They're certainly harmonizing. I mean, like I'm a musician. I know how to harmonize, and they're harmonizing. They're not in dissonance.
Ooh, pull it into something and see if it'll come up with closed captioning.
Yeah, I wonder what key that is. Somebody out there that's got perfect pitch must be able to tell. You could tell what key that is.
I mean, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter as long as it's in harmony with itself. It doesn't really. It doesn't really matter.
Wait, I recognize this frequency. I can
tell you real quick.
I recognize this. It's
the second chakra.
No, I recognize this frequency, man. It's not a song. It's a harmonic frequency, and it's definitely purposeful for.
Can you play it back again, just for my sake? Just maybe the first part. I'm just curious. I want to see if it's in 432 or 440. That's what.
I don't know how you'd be able to tell it.
Yeah.
Play it again, please. One more time. That's a different. It's an E in 432. Key of E in 432. And the reason I know, or not 432 and 440. The reason I know it's in 440 is because my guitar is currently tuned in 440.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's an E. That's an E again, and that's in 440 because I'm not tuned to 432 right now. Just FYI.
Wow. So then my question is this: could that be propellers? Could that be propeller drones from the drones making that noise, just cutting through the air?
Yeah.
Because you know how drones could be noisy.
No.
I mean, if the engineer to set them up to spin at a certain speed to lift the craft, and he just had a whim and himself, he's like, well, I'll just make it in key while we do it. It's like I'll just spin it up a little bit faster to make sure that the vibrations in key. I could see that was happening. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Now that right there, that's a nice one.
That sounds like
slow down.
Yeah, that sounds like a guy on a MIDI keyboard playing with techno beats, like in Reason. that one. So like, I don't know, like that's just me because I've dealt in electronic music. You just hold on one key and you can make that noise, right?
Somebody who watched Close Encounters too many times.
Yeah,
It goes, doo, doo, doo,
Yeah,
doo,
right.
yeah.
doo.
And then you enter it in the computer, and the computer plays it for you. That sounds like somebody playing around on a MIDI keyboard. So like, I would
Yeah.
have to like actually have recording myself, but there you go. That's my assessment. It feels like somebody's geeking out in Pro Tools. That's just me. Right?
Huh.
Maybe.
You got to remember, there's just as much good information as misinformation out there.
Yep.
And now that sounds like
There's-
somebody's firing lasers.
That was Star Trek. That was
I've heard that.
Star Trek
I've heard those
Yeah.
samples on like a million like audio platforms. Like,
Whoa.
this one I've seen too.
No,
This is when
but when you
they
get-
shine the laser at it. They shine the laser at the guy or at the thing, and it shines a laser back. I've seen this one. This is interesting.
¿Estás dando un telar? ¿Qué ahí estoy grabando?
That's
Oh.
yeah, like it's like that could be anything. It could be.
Debe ser un metal grande o un espejo, no sé,
No, dale, porque se dio filete en la gracia.
porque para que rebote de esa forma, claro, ¿cachai? Eso no es una linterna, ya cachamos que no es una linterna. Es el rebote. ¿Cachai? Yo alumbro para allá. Sí, pues ahora estoy alumbrando.
¿Estás dando un telar? ¿Qué ahí estoy grabando?
Ya, voy.
I don't know, man. It's kind of fun.
And I'm like to run with this a little bit, and like it's really important to like talk. Like I've heard a lot of like really based people like out in Montana who are seeing things that I just based on character, I trust what they saw. People that are a part of our community that you kind of have to go with character assessment on who's reporting and what they're seeing and these sort of things, right? And there was somebody that was calling out, and they were off grid, and they were in Montana. They were calling into quite frankly, who's a big podcaster in the Northeast. I've called in and talked to him about UFOs. He's like kind of like a new age, not new age, but he's a George Norrie fan, and he's kind of taken over the reins from George Norrie insofar as like his love and fascination for UFOs. And like he'll have people call in that like they're kind of like of our clan that are very based, and they're like, look, this is just what we saw. And it looked very strange. And like, from my perspective, I believe there is tech that we're just not allowed to have yet. And it's been occulted from us, and they're teasing us with it right now. The drones are drones, and then you got a bunch of jokers out there trying to get hits, like making various like videos, and this is where we have to be careful, because like, this is like the thing that I actually, when I posted on my Facebook, I was like, this one I actually had on my bingo card for this month,
I've been waiting for it.
And then now we're seeing like this onslaught of information and like all these pictures. So you're warming up the population to not only like understand drone technology, which they should already understand, but they're warming up this new thing. And then there's other things being mixed in. It's the muddying of the water. So as we go, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but like that's where we're heading here. So like, now, we can have the actual conversation about the length of the UFO story all the way back to Roswell. And when you're talking about a narrative over the course of say 100 years, one that got forked at the very beginning. First it was a crashed alien thing, then it was a weather balloon, and it forked, which is your dichotomy. And then you have, and this is well before we experienced the fact and we observed the fact that there's no measurable curvature in this place that we live in. So like that eliminates outer space altogether. Once you examine the pile of evidence on one side, they're going to go in there. They might see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I don't give two shits. We've got a giant mountain pile of evidence that says there's no curvature, right? So now we have to deal with the fact that we have a realm.
Exactly.
We have a realm that might have more land, might not. Who knows? Anybody's guess, right? Might be offshore. Tech might be in our backyard. Might be, in the American Southwest, right? So now it's a brand new way to talk about what we call UFOs or UAPs. There's tech here. And I described it the best way I could describe it when I talked to Frank. I was like, look, what if we are the flyover states for people with better tech? and we're just like they're not allowed to interact with us. They fly so high, and if you put on night vision goggles, all the witnesses that I've said that looked up, it looks like there's interstates running up there of shit that nobody knows about. We called them satellites, or we called them they're moving too fast, and we're in the ghetto. We're in the Antarctic ghetto basin, and they are going elsewhere. That's just where I'm at on the whole thing right now, because that's where Effie totally made me feel so much better about my surroundings, because I'm just like, oh, that makes total sense. We're like in the ghetto, we're in the ghetto pond of other places. Now, are there other lands outside the circle? I have no idea. Maybe this is all there is, but then that would mean that it's in here. The tech is in here, and they just get up really high and fly way away, because they know that most of us are not going to look up, especially without night vision goggles, and see that there's like this activity going on up there that you can't explain. And like my one time that I saw a UFO looked like a star moving at extreme speeds at distance, and it took a hard right turn. And if you know anything about physics, everybody inside that craft dies.
All right, I got a scenario. Yes. I got a scenario. I like to throw all the possibilities out there, right?
Yes.
All right. So we see that as far as anybody in high level authoritative positions, if there is such a thing, are really failing to act upon this, what would be otherwise considered a serious breach of national security and international sovereignty.
Yep.
Okay. So,
yep.
What if, as we've already suspected and seen, that the vast majority of those at the upper echelons of this control structure are all influenced by demonic entities, or perhaps demonic entities themselves, and know full well that these are demonic entities appearing in our realm, and are refusing to do anything about it under the guise of, oh, wow, we just don't know. Okay, because I mean, let's face it, Washington, D.C. is virtually a fucking magic Ouija board of some kind. Yeah. Just the way it's laid out and all the bullshit that's in it, right? Yeah. We know that the majority of our government officials are satanic fucking PDFs.
Yeah.
Right, on both sides, fucking both. Don't forget about Dennis Hassert, Republican, Speaker of the House, considered a serial PDF by a judge and only sentenced to 8 months of house arrest. Okay, so that this is in deep, and I'm wondering, we've seen depictions of in the past, like in the 1800s and shit. And before that, even back like from old medieval drawings of these weird fucking things like this in the sky and people looking at them and everything else like that. Do they manifest themselves like this? I don't know. I've never, I think they can manifest into whatever. I mean, in the pure form of energy, I would suppose that they could morph their likeness into anything that they would want to, because they're, I think, more etheric than they are physical.
Yeah, my best take on that, like, and there's a lot of okay, sorry. My best take on the whole, aliens are demons, and it actually makes a lot of sense. It's like if you're trying to normalize what a demon looks like, you're gonna have to do it over a long course of time, and you want to normalize the demon, so the demon is your friend, right? As opposed to like, I don't know, a demon, So like if you go through this whole thing and you see it over the course of 3 generations. There was a picture of when Aleister Crowley supposedly talked to a demon, and I can't remember the name, but he drew a picture of it. It looked like the same thing that was in Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Looked exactly like that. So like,
I think it was Lamb. He called him.
It was Lamb, yeah. So like what you have is you have a normalization campaign of like, okay, no, these people are your saviors. So that I think is the core of the aliens or demons thing that's only been as recent as, like, as far as I know, in the last 5 years, right? And so, this is information warfare, right? Like this is like, oh, we're supposed to accept demons, quote unquote, as our saviors or something like that. And I think that's, quote me if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, but that's sort of like the narrative that the aliens are demons thing. Please chat, or if anybody else has something. Yeah, there he is. So it looks very familiar to, the other alien that came out of the mothership above the tree stump in North Dakota. I mean, I don't know if it's tree stump, but
the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, if anybody notice their friends or family trying to sculpt their mashed potatoes into a replica of Devil's Tower or anything like that, please report that immediately if you do. If you see some blonde woman that's kind of hot running around going Barry so much that you can't stand that fucking name, call the authorities immediately.
Yeah. I mean, what does it take you? Like where it takes me is like, you know, I'm still like after like 2015, I'm back to childhood level. I'm like, everything is fascinating to me. Yeah, go.
Right.
Yes.
Check this out. This is pretty crazy. This is just more footage.
Oh shit. Oh shit. What the fuck? Oh
See,
my God.
I can't tell the difference between
Oh
that
my fucking God.
and the group and the group drone things that they're doing,
God.
right?
Whoa.
The way these things are flying and the things that they're doing.
Wait, they're blowing up. Wait, something.
Normal physics.
Whoa.
You see? I don't know.
Oh,
the Chinese are playing games with the drones themselves. So if the Chinese are doing it, the Chinese typically copy off of everybody else. We probably got the same tech. So I don't know.
What the fuck?
I ain't buying it.
So I've seen something similar.
I ain't buying it.
I've seen something similar. Can you pause it for a second?
Bro.
I've seen something similar to that. Not only the group drone like things that happen, they have the choreographed group drone things in the sky, which I've seen many of those. Right. I've also seen you know, people who launch literally like candles under balloons that go up. Right. So you have lots of these phenomena. You get some jokers out in like the middle of like wherever, and they're like, let's just fuck with some people, or you could combine that with a drone. And you could.
But here's the problem with that, though. Okay, they would know in no short order that it was that, and be able to do something or track it right to the fucking guy running it.
Indeed.
Okay. The problem is that they don't. If that is the case, they're not doing it. Right? They're sending some low-level fucking FBI people out there looking at this shit, and I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. They're gonna collect pubic hairs or semen samples, or what the fuck are they expecting to do?
Why
you know? All they can do is what everybody else is doing. And look at it. And last I knew, that the best the FBI's got is a couple of fucking helicopters. You know, what are they flying up there to go look at them, or you know what's going on? And if they are just a little drone, how in the hell are they outrunning a Black Hawk helicopter?
Mm-hmm.
That don't make no damn sense to me at all.
And I go back to the logistics of our air defense system, and I know, Saab, you know shit about this. Like, we have the capacity to get to a location anywhere in the United States in a matter of minutes. Like, we literally, like, probably what do you think? There's 4 to 6 F-15 on.
We've got so many different assets. We've got Space Force, we've got the Navy, we've got the Air Force, and we have the Army, right? Everybody's got an airborne something. Hey, look, I just passed Fort Dix a little bit ago. I mean, we've got Lord knows how many Air Force bases right here. You know what I'm saying?
So
we've got assets everywhere. Yeah, so did my dad. It's crazy. But it's like, we have so many assets. It's a redundancy measure. You know what I'm saying? So there's always something available at all times to intercept these things. Like, there's no reason as to why they can't find this stuff and figure out what it is. So I'm not buying it at all.
Yeah. I was there 42 years ago. For basic training. On this date right now, I was in the middle of basic training.
42 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
Holy smokes.
I mean, you guys know, like the band, the Foo Fighters, were named after the orbs that all the pilots saw in World War II. And this wasn't unusual. Everyone talked about them. They talked about what these things were and whatever they were. You know, that's why I've always said, like, again, to everyone out there listening, this is probably not new, but it's like, UFOs are not mutually exclusive to flat Earth. There's stuff in here that we don't understand. There's also fakery. There's also bullshit. There's a ton of that stuff. I just smell a bunch of confusion being created right now. That's what I smell. You know, and they're going to mix it all up between explainable things, tech that we don't understand. You know, and frankly, like, yeah, we could shoot a missile just 15 feet from all of those things, explode it, and it would disable everything there. You know,
Would it though? That's the whole that's what's getting me about it, is because I'm looking at some of these things, and I'm watching some of this video of these, and I've seen some shit too in the sky, and I'm telling you what, it's defying physics of any known flight thing I've ever seen in nature or artificial. I mean, I'm talking about shit making hard angle, right angle turns.
Yeah, that one. That's what I saw. We used to call them.
No fucking way. If there was a person in there, it would goddamn kill them. They would be goulash on the inside of it.
Would have smashed them.
We called them, like, back in the day, they were called fast walkers. You know, the parlance of UFO stuff is what that was. Go ahead.
You know, this could also be holograms too.
Yeah. Blue beam too.
Could also be holograms,
which is a whole other show.
Because it's like, man, yeah, like, you know how much money they would save if they didn't actually put if they didn't put the actual tech up there, and they just got a big old flashlight to make the flashlight have a little bit of color in it, swing it around, do these crazy motions, and then just make everybody like just fall for the hook. So I'm like, man, these guys, they're gonna. Go ahead.
Yeah, here's what's crazy, Vlad. Though, is that yeah, I could see that from that perspective. We're sitting here and watching the thing and everything, but how do you direct a hologram to interact with a physical object in 3D space? That would mean you would have to be able to have 360 view of the actual target and the hologram itself at one time. There's no, I can't see that being possible. Maybe with AI or something, but
that's what I'm saying. And you know, I hear exactly what you're saying, Sav. But my thing is this: is that they know that we have, to some degree, many of us don't, but to some degree, we have like a two-dimensional way of thinking.
Yeah,
the vast majority of us do. I'm sure there is a way that they figured out a way to make it to where they have these things interact with actual objects. I know that they must, because remember the last few years, probably within the last 20 years, we've seen, like, especially on like little Alex Jones's show, where they were like, oh, if you looked up in the sky in China, they showed an extra city up in the clouds. And I'm like, well, how the hell did they do that? Or they were like, oh, they showed another city up in the clouds over in Chicago, above Chicago. And then it just disappeared. And I'm like, oh man, they're just getting us ready for what they're going to plan on doing, man. Like, this is stuff that they've had this technology for quite some time.
Well, you have to kind of look at the progression of this. So you know that here in just the last few years, they've been it started out, they were pushing for disclosure about the UFOs, pushing about disclosure. Then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, the military's been interacting with these fucking UFOs and shit. Look at this gun camera footage of this thing. And here's one on FLIR imagery and blah, 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 blah. And getting us, you know, more and more seated to it. Like I said, back when I was there where you're at 42 years ago, if I'd have said something about, you know, UFOs and people seeing them, they would have fucking thought I was nuttier and shit, right? But now people are like, oh yeah, tell me more. Okay, that's how conditioned they've gotten everybody to be.
It's almost like they want the UFOs to be true, even if they are true, but they want them to be true as this savior from outer space, this Narnia stuff. But it's actually tech that's already here. It's like almost manipulating the tech that we already have against people who haven't engaged their brain yet, to realize that they're using that tech to seem superior in order to get people to do or manipulate the general part of the population.
There's Brian Stavely out in there hanging, bro. Or it could very well be Anunnaki Jew lizards from Nibiru coming back to save us from the brink of nuclear destruction.
It could be, and the weirdest one of like all of them was the Eisenhower story, and that was the most troubling one for me because I usually look for 2 points of coincidence, 3 points of coincidence. I really start to dig in, and it was like the Schneider stuff, that really low quality video that he gave of the Dulce experience of what happened, and they made this again. This is speculation. This is speculation. I will say that right up front for entertainment value only. But the agreement that they made about these cats living underground for a long time, and they traded a bunch of humans, and they drank the blood of people, for lack of a better term. I'm trying to be as base as possible on this. It's the most disturbing story that I've heard that I was able to get at least 2 points of coincidence on it. And again, you can go deep down this rabbit hole. It's a really gross one and disgusting one. But when you find out that there's a possibility that we're not at the top of the food chain, that's freaky to a lot of people. It's fucking freaky, and like, but I encourage.
What if we're at the top of the food chain and part of the food chain at the same time?
That's weird. It's weird.
You got to think about how many fucking hamburgers McDonald's puts out. Okay, every year. Okay. How many billions of burgers do they put out every year, okay, to their customers and shit? That's just one fast food chain.
Right.
And I want you to think about how many actual cows there are in the world. It's way less. Now, I like to couple that along with the idea that you never see any new cemeteries opening up anywhere. I'm just saying.
Weird. That's a whole other rabbit hole, dude. One time I was driving.
All I'm saying is Soylent Green is people, bro. Soylent Green is people.
Okay, so here's a rabbit hole, people like to actually genuinely, unless you have money and you want to make a burial site, which that can always happen through life insurance or whatever. But I drive through New York and I see these graveyards just like stretching. But I was like, but how long New York has been around? There's not enough room to put everybody dead. So like, where did they go? Like, what did they get? Maybe they got cremated. Maybe there's a case for like some of them got cremated and they just didn't go to a gravesite or whatever. But like, there just ain't enough ground room to keep everybody that supposedly lived in New York in the ground in a gravestone. It's like
now think about that nationwide, Lowry. Nationwide. How many times? How often are you driving down the road someplace? Anybody out there in all of America? Go ahead. I'm asking, when have you ever seen a brand new cemetery opening up? And there's just like only one grave. Yeah, my Uncle Billy is the first grave in that new cemetery.
Yeah, shouldn't that be like prime real estate that you should be buying for like to open a graveyard or something? It's weird, right? And that, you know what that goes back to, like, to me is like I think that the census data is completely wrong. I don't think there's as many people here as we're told. It's the rule by perceived scarcity thing is like a very powerful thing that runs through at least our community. Is like, no, we don't have enough of anything. Actually, we have plenty for everybody, and it's being held on with an iron fist, the resources for control, right? And it goes the same way with UFOs. It applies to UFOs. It's like, there's tech that's up there, and they're from out, they're greater than us, and they will use that. I don't know how exactly. We're kind of in the infant stages of like how they're presenting it to the public. Kind of, right? I mean, that's where I'm at least. It's like, oh, you're mixing it up. You're muddying the waters. You got drones over here. You got some other shit over here. This might be AI over here. But eventually it's going to confuse people. It's that Russian that defected over to the States. He gave the whole blueprint out. What was his name? You remember? God damn. He was basically like, how do you break down a population? You confuse them to the point where they give up. And they lose their morale. And then
you know what? You want to know what? We've gotten to the point to where it's like, we don't give a damn no more. If you want to believe the official narrative of the CEO getting his ass smoked, if you want to believe that narrative, that's like an example of it, right? And so now that we've gotten to that point, they want to drop this on our heads. I see what you're saying, Lowry. They want to drop this on our heads to make it like, we need answers because we can't figure it out. So we're going to defer to the quote unquote leadership. Like I said, they are not leaders. They are not our leaders. We got to get that through our minds and everybody else's minds. They are not our leaders, right? But who do you defer to? who has to carry the ball, right? Who has to carry the torch? And so we're like, hey, these guys are the ones that should have the answers, and so we're going to look to them as our saviors now. And that's maybe possibly this is what they're banking on, right? That we're looking to them for the answer.
Yeah, Vlad, and it's Stockholm syndrome at that level, and also what you have to remember is like I still to the end of days, this is one of my favorite things ever. Is like there's a group of people that live in this place with us that can't create. They don't have the ability to create. They can only manipulate others to get the reality that they want, and they do that through fear.
Mm-hmm.
Through fear to get the people that can create to create their reality. They can't create. They can't. And you can not make up, but you could explore a lot of different avenues on that. You could do Cain and Abel. You could do a lot of like different things, but there are people, they don't know how to make something new. So they get other people through manipulation, through fear to create the reality for them. And if you have enough money, you have control of the money system, that happens. And it applies to UFOs. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, here's one right there. Mystery drone emerges out of the ocean and heads towards Oyster Creek Nuclear Plant, New Jersey. This was just an hour ago.
Oh.
Still has lights on it.
Seems to be a common looking one. Watch this.
Clearly, they want you to see it. They're not hiding.
Well, you know, and that's the thing is, and they're not doing fucking shit about it. You know, that's my thing is that the reaction. That's why, look, I was expecting some Independence Day type shit, you know, at least.
Yep.
Right? No. We got this. Oh, geez, wonder what the fuck that is. Oh, I don't know. Get me another cup of coffee. You know, I'm like, what? Wait, there's fucking shit in the sky. You don't know where it's from. It's hanging out over sensitive shit.
Exactly.
Look at that weird ass looking thing.
I mean, they're not trying to hide.
You would think that people's antennas would go up. You would think that people, especially being from New York, would be like, you know what? Fuck what the laws say. I'm getting a fucking piece. But these guys are just standing there like, oh, well, business as usual. I'm like, so you don't know anything about this place, but that doesn't concern you at all. That doesn't concern you. Like me, I think it's part of the cabal's BS. I think it's part of their BS, but that's me. The layperson that thinks that the place is a ball and everything else probably thinks it's UFOs. They're still not being.
You already froze up on us again.
They're totally lost.
Starlink.
Yeah, and like, and they're they're not stupid. I like the people that crunch the numbers. What we got here?
This is what they're saying is the drones that they're saying is over New Jersey.
Oh.
At Terra Dynamics, we believe that advanced air mobility can change the world for the better. We founded Terra Dynamics to bring the world our patented transwing VTOL aircraft design that folds its wings during flight to transition between rotorcraft and fixed wing configurations.
Not even fucking close.
Yeah, and if you also if you've done enough UFO stuff, and I think a lot of people out here have done enough UFO stuff. Like there was some number that was presented years ago, like the U.S. military is about 44 years ahead of the public or private market. Yeah, yes. So they're showing stuff that they probably figured out, roughly 40 years ago. So if you apply that to say the anti-gravitic triangle thing that has a patent, I haven't seen one personally, but there's people that have. Right. So what you're talking about, my understanding of it, and I did the whole deep dive on this, is that this one was the ring camera. Right?
Yeah.
It's a bit sus that AI, but
yeah, especially with that swoosh sound.
It's a bit sus,
Yeah.
But going back to the triangle, and I think this is really important to talk about because we don't really talk about this that much. that in the last, at least since FE in 2015, everybody started fucking around with Van de Graaff generators and understanding what the charge was between where we walk around on and on up, and that's why you had towers and you were pulling essentially potential energy or electricity out of the air because the higher up you can get, the more energy you can get. I mean, there's a reason why they have that myth about what's his face with the kite and lightning and everything else, right? But like, here's the thing: it's like
Ben Franklin, right?
Yeah, Ben Franklin. So if you have the ability to harness, that electromagnetism or electricity, it's already here. It's only a matter of figuring out how to vector with it, which is flying cars, right? It's a flying thing. So like if you can manipulate the electrostatic charge between the surface and on up, then you can fly around with virtually no energy source. I've heard a lot of stories about Mercury and like how that they have to balance it out in order to vector. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll stop ranting.
Oh, you're all right. It's just a thing. Go ahead. Keep talking.
I was just saying, I was like the big thing with flying cars, which has always been my thing. I always wanted to fly. I've always wanted to be a pilot, and like,
no. Listen, these dumb motherfuckers can't even keep it in an XY axis. Don't throw a Z in there on these dumb fuckers, man. Listen, I don't know what kind of traffic you drive in, man, but these motherfuckers, man.
Yeah, and but the thing about it is, the reason I always wanted to fly because I always wanted to see. I wanted to see where we live at an altitude, and like that's always been the whole FE argument. It was like we can't get enough altitude to actually look what it looks like, right? But like I've always had a passion for that. Well, then it goes to flying cars, and I was obsessed with this shit at 10 years old. Well, now that I understand the tech, I can see like how they're actually doing it, which is basically they've got a tech that I don't understand yet, but they're vectoring using the energy that's already there. It's electrogravitic. And Mercury has something to do with it. And I can't find enough information on this thing. But Hutchinson really looked into it, and then they had to shut him down. And Hutchinson from Canada, he was the guy that did all the, basically he was turning iron sideways with frequency. This would be the.
Are you talking about Hutchinson?
Yeah, the Hutchinson effect, right?
Yeah, Hutchinson.
Yeah, and Tesla, allegedly discovered the same thing, 369 vortex.
He actually fused wood and aluminum.
Yeah, he just basically broke down the molecular material of two different things and recombined them using frequency. And but that's not even a part of like a flying car. What I'm saying is these triangles is electrogravitic stuff. It's there. I mean, they saw it in Phoenix. I don't remember what it was. They saw a giant.
I did a deep dive on the TR3.
The Phoenix. You're talking about the Phoenix. The Phoenix lights back in '97.
That was like a show off of tech and to present. Aliens are here. I think it's here. I think it's just offshore.
The black triangle. Okay. Yeah. So the TR3B is a 600-foot isosceles triangle, each side 300 or 600 feet. Okay. Inside is a tube that's 10 foot in diameter, and 10. The diameter of the tubing in a ring that has a diameter of 100 feet. And they run electrified mercury plasma through this thing, which has an electromagnetic field over 1 million times stronger than one made of copper of the same size would be, with only a fraction of the weight.
Yeah, so you're talking like the net energy you get out of it is so complete. And to me, it was just like, okay, so how you vector it, right? So like vectoring means how you fly it around, right? So you already have this energy that's net positive. I think there's net positive energy on jet fuel. We're not going to get into the jet fuel hoax, whatever. But I think there's net positive on those jet engines.
Bumblebee.
They're getting more. Yeah, they're doing the Bumblebee.
They don't need jet engines.
Yeah,
think bumblebees.
Yeah,
Bumblebee has absolutely no aerodynamic capability whatsoever. Those wings are there to produce a
lousy flying thing, but it
produces a field. It's in a field, and all you have to do is direct that field. A bumblebee, can fly straight through a side wind, and it doesn't deviate. It just goes straight.
Yeah. Shaking his tail.
I think part of the whole spinning Mercury thing. If you a gyroscope, or even if you take a bicycle wheel and then you throw an axis in the middle of it, you spin it really fast. As soon as you tilt it, or if you could get it to tilt in a particular direction, it'll like carry you. The force finds a way to carry you somewhere. So
it's also Mercury in a plasma
I feel
state.
that. Right. It's weird. Like honestly, it's weird to me. I couldn't even begin to tell you how mathematics like that works. Like it boggles my
Yeah,
mind. I can't even.
I'm at the same
I don't
place,
even
dude.
know how people come up with shit like that. I don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't find enough literature on it. I think it's buried, but like as much as we can glean, it's just vectoring
Right.
energy that's already there, right? And like I've heard a bunch of like mystical stories about like creating a field in front of you and you're endlessly falling into it. A lot of that seems a little mystical to me, but like they've got guys at MIT right now that are just manipulating the electrostatic field and floating things up at, and so if you take that, exponentially into say a craft, and you want to move it around and go in certain directions, if you can figure out how that physics works around that energy, and you've got endless amounts of output without any input, you literally could take a right turn at 3,000 miles an hour and
not
it wouldn't
smash
affect you.
yourself.
Yeah, because you're actually not only
Exactly.
affecting the craft that you're in, you're affecting the surroundings, which would be, dare I say, the ether.
Exactly.
So like, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
out there that are looking at this stuff, but this is the thing that nobody wants us to know about, right? They don't want us to know about this
It makes. Yeah, I think it's what's crazy about that are the reports that people tend to have anytime they talk about UFOs, or they talk about, hey, a UFO appeared over my car, and then so it's crazy how those things tend to happen. You always get the same effect. You get cold spots, 1, 2, and so that could be a result of potential, because you know that if you're around some kind of potential, usually there's like a cold spot, right? It could be actual potential, or it could be ghosts of some sort. Another thing you get is missing time, right? So then if you're it's weird how if you're messing with the electromagnetic field, you could potentially, dare I say, I guess, which I've never even used that term, but you could be messing with some type of space time. You could be messing with some timing effect of some sort. I don't know. But then this is where people's cars come in. What do you have in a car? You have a motor, you have an engine, right? What do the engines have? They have that timing. They fire off on a timing mechanism. What typically happens when these people they meet up with a UFO? All the shit shuts down, right? Your electricity goes off, your engine shuts off, the timing off your engine just goes off. Like everything, time basically stops.
Yeah,
So it's
that
like
would
you
be
get enveloped in another world.
that could also be like truth in plain sight. I remember, and again, this is just going back to movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. When you're using a field like that electromagnetically, you're affecting the field around you that affects anything electronic around you, or anything that's even mechanical that's dependent on electronic. But like, here's the thing, and like always, and this is like 20, 30, 40 years of thinking about this stuff. Like I truly believe that it's just a physics phenomenon that we're not allowed to know about. And I don't know if they're trying to introduce it and or use it for a power thing to get people to think there's people coming from outer space balls, which they're not, and like they don't know how to manage this introduction of this tech, because they know that we're going to find out about it. They know it. There's the internet, for good or bad, got enough information out there to know. And this goes back to even a simpler thing. And let me ask you this, and this will be a really good thing to launch. And like I said, Saab, I think this is a 4-part series. We should do this again. Radon. Okay. Radium, the old radium, the radium heaters, right? A little piece of radium could heat a place for generations, right? Well, now what we have is we have people going out testing for radon to say this is
they're not really, it's different though.
But it's a radiological source that doesn't
it's radiological.
Keeps you heated up. That's free energy. That's one version. But they go out to search for it so that you don't get it and don't use that source of energy, for good or bad. If it's a good source of energy or bad, I don't know. But it's interesting to me that these things existed, and then they made radon dangerous, just like they made airships dangerous, just like they made like all sorts of other things dangerous. It's the same psyop over and over and over again. That's just
young couple next door to me. They bought the house right next to mine, built the same year as mine. And somehow somebody talked them into putting one of them fucking radon reducing units in their basement and shit. Yeah. Oh, and the whole fucking contraption to get rid of it and everything else like that. And I was just laughing my ass off. I was like, radon has been around forever. Okay. The reason you get in higher concentrations, it's not in houses like mine. Okay. It's in newer houses where there's more efficient insulation and sealing in these houses. And so it traps it's not allowed to dissipate out. Okay. So
it's a natural thing in the soil.
It is. It's in the earth. It comes out of the fucking earth. That's why I suspect that the whole thing, why we get heat from the sun, is not as a result directly of the sun, but its interaction with the earth itself, kind of like what's that magnetic cooker I've got? What are they? Induction.
Exactly, dude.
Magnetic induction.
Let me speak to that.
Like we've got the negative plate of the earth, we've got the positive charge of the sun, and depending on its proximity to that part of the earth, is going to be dependent on whether or not they're getting the heat or not. And just like when you move the pan around on that fucking thing I've got. It's just something I'm playing around with. People say, well, yeah, but it's just dirt.
No, dude, you're not wrong,
8
dude.
miles down? What the fuck is 8 miles down? What is that? What is that they can't get through? What is the fuck is there? Maybe we're just sitting on the grease on the fucking frying pan,
I would simplify it. I would simplify it even further, Sav. Is like the sun perturbates all of the either the ether, air molecules, it perturbates it. Just like when you talk to somebody on radio, the invisible radio waves, we're talking to each other from miles away through a cable. We're perturbating a medium. It's running in instant time. The sun does the same thing. That's what's so weird when you go up in the mountains, and like the sun feels different in the shadow and the shade. It should be hotter, but it's weird. It's like it's sort of hotter. It sort of affects you a different way. You get up higher. It's like it's so weird.
Larry, here's why I know that the sun and the moon both could not exist without the earth and function. And I think they function the way that I'm saying. That's even if you want to go to biblical. That's why the earth was created before the sun and the moon. He had all this other shit worked out before he even came up with the sun and the moon. Right? They have to be, they're dependent upon the earth to be able to function the way that they do. Just like that pan is dependent upon that magnetic induction burner to be able to heat up. And within the whatever proximity I am of that magnetic induction is going to be give the different degrees of heat in the pan. I do it with a rheostat, but without the rheostat, then I could actually lift the pan and reduce the heat, get it closer and increase the heat because of the frequency of the magnetics between the two. That's the way I think it goes. But you were on something when you said something about the missing time, and this is I kind of like boom, it went to me, and I went, wow, the energy too. And this is a guy actually talking about it. He says, I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone, and my drone started going down, dead battery. And this is a guy in New Jersey. He tries intercepting one of the mystery drones with his fully charged drone, and then his battery died. And there's a little video clip we can, I don't know.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Is right here over at Picatinny, there was a drone just hanging out. I put my drone up in the air and went towards it. I had full battery life. Not 3 minutes into the flight, I lost control of the drone. Warning on my screen, lost control, and my drone started going down, dead battery. Is right here over at Picatinny, there was a drone.
That's not the first guy that I've heard saying this shit either. There
was an old story. Here's another old story. Oh, sorry. There's another old story in ufology lore too. And again, we're just playing around tonight because, again, guys, we're not making any claims. I'm just I'm barfing out.
I'm gonna just park. Can we park this discussion for a second? I'm just gonna pull this up real quick.
Yep.
I got Jaron live in Quintus Aries right now.
Go. Let's check it.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. My bad. There we go.
This is looking at south.
It's looking south.
It's midnight. Wait, what time is it? Midnight? Yeah, it's midnight. and that's looking about south. We do have different readings about exactly. We couldn't see the sunset today, but now it's lit up pretty good in the south. That's pretty bright for midnight.
You see it good on the stream?
I don't know if you can see it. Can you guys see it good? Okay, so see it.
You know, sometimes the camera doesn't give you the truth, because like I'll see a beautiful sunset and I go pull out my camera and try to capture it, and it don't look nothing like what I'm seeing on the camera or in real.
You thought northeast today, so we're gonna get it tomorrow morning and try and catch a sunrise. It would be hard to imagine that.
I don't know if he got chat
northeast.
I'm gonna pull up. I'll pull up.
He thinks the sunrise is gonna be that way tomorrow. Yeah, but how could he see that from the hotel though?
Yeah, let's.
It seemed like he'd be able to see that. Wow, that's crazy. He didn't seem sure. I don't know if that was after one TTQ. Anyway.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's definitely. Let me look at the. We're going to use the GPS unit we have here. I got this battery pack.
It's totally. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that.
Okay.
I'll back up.
All right, look, check this. Check. Okay, sorry, I'm interrupting. Check this out. So it's 12 o'clock here, okay? The sun, okay, it was light until after 10 o'clock. We were eating lunch. It was still like bright outside, 10 p.m., right? Okay, it's midnight now. It's gotten dark and like actually pretty cold. Anyway, so we're in the hotel.
Sounds like
we're looking out the window. Our window is like facing the water and it's facing south. And the whole sky is pitch black. But if you look south, the sky is lit up. The sky is lit up in the south, but not in any other direction.
And I think I'm going to bring up, this is the GPS unit that.
Okay, so let's break it down. So obviously the idea, if you look at the AE map, right, you got the sun will be moving in a circle. It's actually going to be going north at this point.
That way.
But according to the globe's going to predict that the sun's actually over there south. It's going to be over towards the south. In theory, if we were to I don't know, maybe hop in a plane and start flying that way, we would see the sun start to rise up, right? Now, if there was like a container and there was light wrapped around the edge, then we would still see what we're seeing right now, which is just like a lit up like rim along the south.
Okay. It always comes down to the sun.
So it comes down to the sun. Yeah, I'll grab a picture.
Is the view not good? How did we're not on the stream anymore? Can we go offline? No, we're still live, I think. That's noticeably lit up.
Why would it be the first way? The sun's further out south right now. It's there.
Well, I'm trying to get this GPS to work.
It's riding up along the edge. The sun's going to keep going the other way. Eventually,
This robot tacular guy is seems to be having a fucking meltdown in here today.
Trying to get this.
I don't know. I'm on on 3 different chats right now. So like,
Okay, I got that.
Wow. Take a pill there, buddy.
a single ball in the sky. Wait, where's the ball in the sky right now?
Where what?
Okay, so can someone tell this guy, hey, can you shut up? Thank you. You're just deflecting away from we're making a lifetime observation as far south. We're actually past South America. We're no longer in South America. We're that far south. We don't need you to just waste our time with deflections. Right now, we're looking south at midnight, as far south as you can go until you start heading towards Antarctica. It is light in the southern direction.
Damn wind.
Whether or not it was a sun over there or if it was like a copy custom thing, right? I'm just letting you guys know we are live.
So midnight.
Jaren's live on YouTube as well.
Yeah, it's just light in the. Although I'm trying to get the exact.
So at that time, midnight.
Can you use your compass on your phone, Elizabeth?
It's pitch black. It's pitch black everywhere except for that direction.
Okay. So then I wonder what the sun. So then my question is, I wonder what the sun is going to look like from Punta Arenas, wherever they're at, exactly at the time, on the SunCalc website. What does it look like? Is my question. What's it looking like?
I don't know. Pull it up.
I mean, it's already weird. It's already fucking weird.
Wow. Hold on, this GPS is losing it.
It is.
We'll go back to my page.
It is.
It's what?
So 12:03 a.m. doesn't make sense right now
No,
because
I was just like, it's weird.
was this last night? Was this like last
No,
night?
it's live right now.
So right now I'm reading 10:03.
This is right now.
So they should be at like 9:03 or 8:03, right? Or like what is the southern tip of South America's time zone? They shouldn't be at midnight.
No,
Why are
it
they at
should be
midnight?
about us. Should be the same as us.
I mean, everybody want to confirm that I'm at 10:04 p.m. December 11th. So they should either be 10:04 or
Stop.
that's
Hey,
weird.
could we ask him a question real time?
I
Can we
told
ask
him.
him a question real time right now?
I told him that we were simulcasting
Okay.
on his chat, and I've got him. There's Dearth is there too. He says there's live tracking on the TFE website, but there's some nonsense. One of the tracks is complete bullshit. I'm on Jaren's channel, so I guess this is the right one. Why are they at midnight? Like I'm confused. Like how can they be? At
now let it
midnight?
go.
Unless the island that they're
But
on is.
if I start walking, then it changes.
Hey, Sav, I'm gonna mute up. I'm gonna mute up for a second. I'm gonna call Dave, and I'm gonna find out. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
This is strange.
Let's see this. Oh wait. Time.
So his GPS is acting up.
I guess. What is that thing called?
Yeah. This is. It's kind of like what we expected. Oh, time. Sun calculator, something.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what
I
it
forget
says.
the
The
damn
current local time and okay. Well, let's see. That's bonus Aries.
Timeanddate.com.
Fuck this thing. No, it says it's 6 minutes after midnight in Buenos Aires right now.
Huh. Right.
So 6:11 actually.
Okay. I wonder what that looks like. I wonder what everything looks like on a AE map. I'm trying to picture it in my head and
I'm looking at it right now.
Midnight.
And well, I guess it's I don't know, man. Well, maybe they don't go by daylight savings either.
Right.
You know, that's probably because right now, if we would actually be, it would actually be 11:06 if we didn't have daylight savings. Right here.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems kind of weird because I was like following that meridian up, and it looks like the one that cuts right through.
Right.
I don't know, up into Maine and shit, New England, which should be our time zone.
Right.
It'd have to be further
Damn,
west.
this is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. No. If they're in if it's midnight for them, they should be. They should be.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if it's midnight for them, they should be east because it's 10 here.
Yeah.
Can you see the top of that? Northwest. On. I cannot get it to zoom in on that or to
we're live
resolve.
streaming all of it.
Damn it.
On Jaren's, so that no one.
No, but you can't see it.
All right, so I just got off the phone with wife. So like in the Mercator
Let me see my,
projection.
that's not gonna
Okay,
work.
so we got someone in Australia. The sun's above their.
Let me see your compass again.
How you
doing,
above
SRV?
the guy's head in Australia right
Hey,
now.
Saab,
right, so what?
can you mute the live stream for a second?
Yeah, I did.
So like the globe is the globe projection is throwing everything off, right? I was under the presumption that all of South America generally is Central Time Zone and maybe Eastern Time Zone. So now what everyone's saying is like it's actually positioned, which would be a big Brent Stavely like thing that South America has moved. But like this is cartography like bullshit. Cartography psyop, right? So
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
they're saying that South America is pushed over relative to the Gleason projection 2 hours to the continents to the east.
To the west.
To the east.
No, it would
To
be
the
moved to the
east,
east
yes.
to make it midnight for them because it's 10:09 here. That would mean 2 hours into the southern Atlantic Ocean to make it that. So like we've got that one down.
No. It would have to be 2 hours west of its current position in order for that to be correct.
To be midnight?
Wait,
Well,
is it because the meridians? Is it because the meridians spread out the further south we travel? Is that why you're saying that?
I mean, we're getting to the bottom of it right now. This is real time figuring it out.
Right.
So,
So in other words, what their fucking thing is showing is where South America used to be before the Mandela effect on the maps.
Yes, that would be like a Stavely question, right?
So and in the Mandela effect, it is moved east. If you moved it west, it would increase the amount of. It would be earlier. Yeah, you're right.
So like that's kind of where we're at.
It would be earlier.
Yeah. Go ahead and turn it back on. I want to see kind of what they come up with
it's
here.
Further.
Well, I mean,
further east.
I mean, we're getting real-time data that we've never had before. Like this is real-time data I've never had. Like,
this is weird. Hold up.
Yeah. So
then, what other countries in South America are in line with Punta Arenas or whatever it's called?
Clearly, it's out into our Atlantic Ocean. Clearly now, because they're saying that they're ahead 2 hours. So. And that's on a globe. That's on a globe, globe time clock, right? So, like, I'm thinking of it as a Gleason thing.
Punta Arenas.
So,
Punta Arenas.
So then my question then is, what are the countries along the same longitude? But if we travel up in latitude, right? What countries would be along that same grid? You know what I'm saying?
It sounds
and then what time is it there?
Well, maybe you want to pull up a Gleason projection, and then like see where it lines up, and like again, what we're talking about, like they've lied about the way they project maps. So like, I honestly thought that the southern tip was roughly Central Standard Time. That's what I always thought. So now they're saying it's 2 hours ahead down there. So we've got a really valuable data point there. Right now, we do have one. They're literally there. They're at midnight. We are at we're at Eastern Standard Time at 10:11. They're 2 hours ahead. That means that wherever they're at is been moved over in the Gleason projection, which they all called people in all the spots to find out where noon was in all the spots to make sure that this is, I'm talking about Weiss and a bunch of other people.
Right.
Hey, are you in this plot? Where's the sun at? It's noon. Okay, where are you at? To get the time thing. So there's something fucking weird going on here. We've got a continent that's 2 hours ahead that I didn't think was. That's where we're at. I mean, it's weird, but here we go. And now you've got like they're looking directly south, and they've got one little bit of light south of them, right?
Right. Well, let's hear what they got to say about it.
All right, go for it. Yep, I'll mute up.
I'm gonna move over this way and see. You think this thing would work? Okay, so what I don't understand is that needle is pointing to where south is. Right, I'm going east. Is that correct? If we're walking this way, am I going east? Whoa, and there's a step and we hung on. Everybody's all right. This thing turns off every 3 seconds, goes back to the main screen. Nightmare. All right. Okay, so we were going east. South is this way, and then when I turn this way, why wasn't it? Yeah, this thing is all jacked up.
Yeah,
it
that
should
ain't working at all.
This thing's as jacked up as could be. God, somebody explain, am I doing it wrong? settings. Yeah. It just got position. Let me see. It knows that where we're at. I mean, when you put on the map, it shows where we're at, but it's just not tracking. Let me see.
Wow.
Tracking display reset. No, it's fine. Position format. Heading.
I wonder.
Maybe heading's what we want. Let's try heading.
Well, there's nothing to save it between everything.
True north. Yeah, this might be good. Bearing. Yes, good. Good. Let's go. Yeah, course is good.
Or also too, are y'all with this?
What are they doing, man?
Yeah, if you trust the, if you trust the iPhone, that is south right here. Exactly south. If we go to units is fine. System play. Setting.
All right. Well, I don't know, man. They'll figure it out, I suppose. What's happening, Boston Ray?
How you doing, man?
Oh, same old, brother. How are you?
I don't know. So what do you think?
What's happening,
what do you think in SOV? If there's a 24-hour sun, it doesn't prove anything still?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I do. I mean, it's yeah. It will prove something. Yes, absolutely. It will prove that there is something anomalous with the sun that we don't understand. And in order to be able to understand it, we'll have to repeat this observation and do more exploration into it. That is the big if. But of course, if a bullfrog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass every time he jumped, neither, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to suddenly throw away all of the other physical impossibilities that are claimed of lumpy space vacuums with magical balls of gas that catch fire. It's not going to make a convex water surface. It's not going to. Here's what's going to prove a globe. Okay, this right here is the only thing. And all they ever want to do is make a long distance, long range observation and then proceed to tell you how fucking ignorant they are of how optics work. So what they need to do in order to concretely, irrefutably, beyond a reasonable doubt, prove the globe is to show measurable curvature by taking physical measurements 360 degrees around a central point consistent with the radius value given for the globe. That's all. Not a photograph. Not a fucking, oh, look at that lighthouse and bullshit. And now I'm going to explain to you how I don't know a goddamn thing about how my own eyes work. You know, that's what they end up doing.
Yeah, and I'm in the same position. So it's like I am fascinated by the data we're getting, and I'm a data guy. I love data. There's going to be so much to unpack from this. Like they're not even there yet. They're on some random place that I thought was in the central time zone. Now it's 2 hours out into the Atlantic Ocean Eastern. So like now we have to like. There's going to be a whole segment of videos about where the time zones go.
So
I'm like what?
So here's one thing. Here's one thing we need to remember also, guys, is that the sun travels in the opposite ways. It does an upside down U, or it makes it does an upside down U as opposed to an arc like what we're used to. You know what I'm saying? So if the sun is moving like that, maybe then their midnight kind of makes sense in that respect. So one thing I'm thinking about is the sundial, right? So the sundial down there, they said as soon as you go south of the equator, the sundial points south, right? The Gnomon points south. That big ass fin thing points south. I wonder then what it would look like in a place like Punta Arenas. So the guys down in Australia, right? Down in Melbourne, Victoria, they said it rises in the southeast and then it sets in the southwest. Maybe they're getting something similar to this. Maybe they're getting an effect similar to this, right?
I've heard that.
And then it just looks weird.
Or just based on the fact that they had to be bullied into going down this year. The guy in Brazil was so specific about this year that people said, no, we'll go this year. Last year, they said, no, let's go this year. And he's like, no. Had to put it off to this year. Perhaps there is an anomalous effect that takes place every so many years on a repeated cycle. And this is why I'd say this would have to be repeatable observation. Nobody, if you're even going to hint at it being an experiment, you at least have to have repetition involved.
Yeah, good call. Good call. I didn't even think of that yet. You're right.
It might be this year. It might be this year. You know, the Chinese zodiac says it's the year of the dragon. And this is just me spitballing, and I could be totally wrong. The Chinese zodiac says it's the year of the dragon. Every 12 years, it's the year of the dragon. So then maybe this year we experience something similar to, the 24-hour sun, if there is a 24-hour sun, which this 24-hour sun, where it just hangs out. Maybe this dragon is a symbol of like the Ouroboros that eats its own tail. Maybe I'm shooting from the hip. Maybe it's a lot. I don't know.
And we did have two kind of anomalous fucking eclipses in the same year, both passing over the United States, I just wonder, if there's there again, that was an anomaly. That was like a cycle that doesn't repeat itself, but every so many fucking years. And I'm just saying there might be some kind of a cycle. And that's why I'm saying you can't just go look at something first off and then make a story up. Okay. You have to, if at the very least, if you cannot manipulate the variables involved and all you have is observation, you need repeatable observations with consistent results.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. Actually, I just sent you a text from Wise. He's also talking about something that we haven't been talking about that much. It was just like cartography and how you can spin up directions with people with various cartography that isn't exactly true. He's got actually on the tracker. They're still at the airport, according to the tracker.
Hold up. Send it where, Lowry?
I texted it to you. You can share it if you want to. But they're also like, when you get down to a certain place, essentially, like what I've always thought about cartography was that they can make up the land masses however they want, wherever they don't want you to go. And they can make it look any way they want to. This is a small thing. This is just like a minor point that might end up as an episode or whatever, but they still have them at the airport. So but they're not at the airport. Clearly they're at some sort of, place away from the airport. And then like that, after 20 hours of flight, they're down there now trying to figure out their orientation. Now, half of their compasses are not acting exactly correctly. Dave just sent, he just sent the Gleasons. All right. So I'm going to send
I got you open right here, Lowry. I got this open. I have my phone linked up to my thing here.
So, the 24-hour moon video that he uploaded today is pretty suspicious to me too, because it's like, okay, so now, if it's going to be light, maybe it's going to be a little dim. So they're going to say that's the 24-hour moon or something and try to just confuse people.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. Everything's weird about firstly,
he pulled it out at the end too. Like he hasn't said nothing about the 24-hour moon until like last minute, like just sprang it on everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird, right?
Wow.
So what phase of the moon are we in right now? Because I don't see anything up there. Well, then again, it's cloudy, but what phase are we in?
I don't know.
I'll tell you in one hot second.
I'll tell you.
Nicole's on it. I'm just I got something else from Weiss here too. There's
I dropped my vape, man. That's more important than the fucking
yes. Fumble.
Oh yeah, I got a thing on my phone. Hold up.
Yeah, that was just you're already sharing that, but I've also got I got a projection of time zone.
That said waxing gibbous.
Yeah, I got a projection of time zone on Gleason and Globe. So I'm gonna put that in private chat. I guess.
Wait, no, I was just looking at all the airports, and everything under the equator, south of the equator, is midnight.
Yeah.
And then the eastern seaboard is
hold on.
earlier.
Well, it's more of that time zone fuckery. That's more of that. Look at the time zones on a globe. You'll see that fuckery that goes on there.
Yeah, when they carve it up and Let's see.
That's weird.
No, everything's weird right now. This is like I'm already like that's what cartography can fuck with you, dude. It really can.
Well, that's what gets me. These fucking people and their bullshit all the time about where's your map? And I'm like, wait a minute, where's your map? Okay, you don't have a map. You have somebody else's map that you were given. You accept it as true. You've never verified any of those fucking distances yourself. And let's face it, bucko, you're not a world traveler, and nobody uses a goddamn whole world map to navigate.
No,
they use sections. Okay,
They don't.
so get off your fucking map bullshit until you can actually make your own goddamn map. Okay, that's all I got to say to them people. I tell you what, I get sick of their shit, man.
I mean, I think most of the deception in this world happened through cartography. That's just me. That's my position on it.
Oh, that's 100.
And like, I'm also sending you. This is a projection from Weiss, and it just shows basically a straight line between certain spots here. Let me copy that.
Send away.
You're gonna get that here in a hot minute. And you can share this on the screen. What I'm saying is like again. Like I was under the impression I didn't know that southern South America was 2 hours out into the Atlantic ahead of time. I had no idea, but now we're starting to like uncover cartography deception, and that's what it really is. It's like how do you know you can't get enough altitude to know where we're at, and like who can? I'll get a balloon, I can get up high enough, maybe there won't be any clouds and I can see some of it, right? But like this was something Weiss just sent because he's watching it pretty closely. I think we're going to know some shit really quickly because I think now that there's boots on the ground down there, there's going to be some stuff that because none of us can go to Antarctica, and they're actually down there. And like,
well, that's what I wanted to ask, right? So if none of us can go to Antarctica, we know they signed the treaty. What are they going to, the island, like the peninsula, or what?
They're going to an inland spot, which is a landing strip, which as I understand it, it's a little bit inland, but not much. It's somebody in chat could probably help me out. There's a glacier.
Are they going someplace that like we're normally not allowed to go, or how is it working?
No, they set it up to allow this to happen. I mean, it's clearly set up to allow it to happen. So they're expecting a certain result out of it so that they can do a gotcha thing. But honestly, we're getting data. Like we're already getting data just on that one thing that we just saw them do. We're already getting brand new data that none of us knew. None of us knew.
Even the spot that they picked for them to go might be suspicious because they might know in that spot it might do that in one spot, but not anywhere else. Like they're like, we have to do it here in this spot at this time,
Yeah, and I mean, already it's weird.
It's
weird. I like again, like Stavely did a whole thing on like, well, South America used to be like this way on a Mercator projection, and now it's over here.
All right, the thing about the ALE, let me tell you about the ALE. Okay, this ALE, it's a little bit sus to begin with, in my opinion. It's based out of fucking Utah, Salt Lake City, if I'm not mistaken. Mormon City. Okay. That's a red flag right to start with. Same outfits, got their fingers in a couple other ventures that cater mostly to the elite. One of which they're going to do is some kind of a balloon ride or something I heard about. Anyway, they have already all the permits and everything necessary and the agreements necessary to be able to run their little camp facilities and everything. By proxy, people that they bring there are kind of like grandfathered underneath of those permits and restrictions that the tourism company has already agreed to. So they're not going to be able to say, hey, well, thanks for letting us sleep in your tent overnight. We're going off to fucking explore. No, there will be none of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It stinks of maritime law versus common law.
Right. So these idiots, you got to be careful. These fucking globetards are so pedantic that you have to be very explicit in the things that you say. Okay.
Yeah.
You can't say you're not allowed to go to Antarctica and go, oh, because my Aunt Martha went to Antarctica. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you stupid fucking pinhead. You
So
are
let's-
not allowed to freely explore Antarctica. You cannot put together an expedition on your own and go explore fucking Antarctica. Do you understand this?
Hey, Saab, can I step in for a second? I just want to
Yeah,
say,
I
I'm going to.
suppose I'll allow that for a moment. Go right ahead, Rod.
and leave and also leave the projection after. I want to say something after he talks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go redo that GoFundMe. I want to just let everybody know I'm going to see next year if I can get out there.
Nice.
It's
There you go.
actually, yeah. And it's Saab's idea. I'm throwing. That's why I hopped on here for a second.
How you doing, Roger? How you doing?
I'm good.
Is that Roger?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Let's go.
He's
I'm a
gonna
regular
do his
around here.
GoFundMe. And he wants to go next year. He wants to go next year, and we should crowdfund it and see if we can't get him together to go. And I'm
Damn
getting a
straight.
really bad echo off somebody.
I'll throw some.
It's probably me. It's my headphones. They're really small, so the speaker's next to them. I'm at work still. I just thought I'd hop on here and say hi to you guys.
I just muted and
Throw that
unmuted.
in
It's not me.
It's me. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Roger, are you saying that we're gonna have to wait a full year until you go
Well,
down
that's
there?
it. That's part of the.
Why not?
Listen,
okay.
that's
I'm
part of the
cool with it.
repetition. That's
cool
part
with
of the repetition necessary for it to actually be even resembling an experiment. Would be repeatable, consistent observations. Okay.
Indeed.
Now we can build a hypothesis.
Different nights too. We don't want it the same night of the same year or whatever. We want to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, even to go on the same night, that would be the control.
Yeah.
That would be the control. Go during the solstice. Go during the solstice or near the solstice. Take that same date range right there. And if you get consistent results, you see, because I think my suspicion is that there's something that happens, say, like on a 7-year cycle, or even, dare I say, a 33-year cycle.
Yeah, and like
something just occurred to me to that. I don't, just bear with me. You ever wonder about a 33 and a third RPM record, an LP?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Little stylus stays in one place, but the record rotates. The record rotates. It goes 33 and 1/3 rotations per minute. Okay, 33 and 1/3. Now you realize that's an irrational number. It's 33 and 1/3 is a number that just fucking goes on through infinity. Okay, it'll just it's an irrational number. Now that music never gets slower or faster as that stylus goes in toward the center of the record, does it? The music stays consistent at 33 and right. It stays consistent.
So as the record,
as
the record gets smaller, it should change, but it doesn't.
Right. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we make the stylus move instead of the record. And as it goes around, it
classic
gets
inversion.
And it goes in 33 1/3 rotations per minute onto the inside, right? But when it gets to the inside track, it starts over and starts going back around the other way, back out to the outer edge of it, playing the same speed of music the whole way through.
That's actually a good transition into the picture we have up here. So like what we have here is we have a Gleason, we have a globe, and we have a Gleason map, a direct line down from, say, the northeast of the United States down to generally where they are, which is the southern tip, right?
Right.
So like on the Gleason's projection, insofar as a time clock, it should be relatively the same because we're talking about a circuit of the sun. And they've went through all of these things. They called people in different countries, is the sun right above you at noon? Yes, they did it in all of those countries, all the way around. Weiss, fucking Jaron, a bunch of people did it. So this little projection, the Gleason projection, shows we've got a straight line from the northeast down to the southern tip, right? Should be, looks like relatively the same time as the clock goes. Yeah. So like now we're doing this. Now, what does that suggest then? what does it suggest? The tech has actually shifted the actual clock ahead 2 hours in that particular time zone where their phones are connecting to towers. No, it's 2 hours ahead, or these are the kind of deceptions that are possible. If you don't know where you are, you don't know exactly what's happening, they can tell you whatever time they want.
Exactly.
That's what's weird to me. It's fucking weird. It's like the ultimate like deception really isn't cartography.
I had the same type of thought one time when I fly a lot when I'm on a flight. And that, you know how they show you like a little airplane on a map that's like a blip, like, and that's where you're supposed to be the whole time. And it like, oh, don't worry, you're like above Maine. Oh yeah, don't worry, you're in the, like, how do you know that that's really where you even are?
Don't.
And that's even what it, like, we can see the shapes of some land masses and they match up a little bit, but like, I don't know. Like Texas looks like Texas.
Look at the fuckery. Hey, y'all, look at the fuckery that you got going on in these time zones, though, right here. Okay. Now, of course, this is a Mercator projection, but still, take a look at this. Okay. Now, here you are, what you was doing in the United States, right? And we're 5 hours from Zulu time, minus 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you come to, that's all in the gray. We've got Colombia, Peru, and all of that. But we come over here into the Argentina, and they're 3 hours. Okay, we've got a 2 hour difference between this zone and this zone for some reason. And then we go into this green one over here that's 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
I would
look, you get down here to this area where they're at, this little tip.
Yeah,
and
what's that tumor? What's that tumor on Chile? That square tumor on Chile? Like, what the fuck is that? Like a square?
That's showing let's see.
Weird.
That's the Falkland Islands.
No,
Don't
on the,
you like
on the left side.
look
On
at
the
the
left
Falkland
side.
Islands, dude.
On the opposite side, Chile has a big
on the West
giant
Coast.
Square on the West Coast, which is
There's
really
a big
fucking
square
weird.
on the West Coast.
Like, why is that the time there? Like, this is what I think. This is what I think inversion looks like in a Mercator digital projection. I think inversion looks like this. They have to make it that way so that the sun makes sense to the fucking local residents. I really, truly believe that. It's like they have to do that shit and invert it and create a reality for everybody.
There's a little area, a little square that is -5 in the middle of a fucking area that's -7. Look at this dumb shit. What the fuck do you got going on here, man?
Jeez. Man.
So yeah, there's
and then
all
it goes
kinds of
back to
fuckery
what
with the
it goes
time
back to
zone.
what it goes back to what we said before, man. This is how they keep us off balance. We don't know where we are. We don't know what time it is. We don't know who we are. That's exactly how they get us off fucking kilter.
Yeah, and Nicole, she was looking.
What time it is.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. And Nicole was looking through, and like she's one place,
the charter,
Union Glacier time, the charter,
the
right?
charter that they're going on. I was just looking at their website, and there's a little section on time under the about, and it says, even though we operate in 24-hour daylight, Union Glacier camp time is the same as Punta Arenas, Chile, where our flights originate. Our other camps at Mount Vinson, South Pole, and the Empire Penguin Colony also operate on the same time. Union Glacier time is UK -3 hours from UK time, plus 2 hours from NYC time, Eastern Standard, plus 4 hours from Pacific Standard Time, and then Amundsen Scott Station. That's
Antarctica. Yeah.
Thank you, Vlad. Amundsen Scott Station, located at the South Pole, uses New Zealand Standard Time.
What?
Right?
Oh man.
What? New Zealand Standard Time. So hold on.
Oh, so goddamn, that's so far out west.
So Amundsen Station in the South Pole uses New Zealand Standard Time. How does that make sense?
So that's
fucking weird.
13 plus 13
yeah,
hours.
because it's okay. Okay, because Antarctica is supposed to be a circle, right? So then, if we look for Amundsen, yeah, if you go towards the Amundsen Sea, I know the Amundsen Sea is somewhere around there, but they show it to you on they show you the Amundsen Sea based off of Antarctica being a continent, not a ring. You
Right.
understand? So then you have to find where the Amundsen Sea and Amundsen Station is at based off of Antarctica, the ring. And then more than likely, it's going to take you towards New Zealand, towards the west. That's way out there. That's
So
way out there.
like have you guys like again, this is like kind of a new well, it's not new, but it's a new subject that now we're kind of getting into, is that there is a possibility to be deceived through cartography and time zones. Are you getting that now a little bit?
Yeah.
And like, if you don't,
I've known this for a long time, man. I've been trying to tell people this shit.
I think repeating this topic would be really advisable for all of us, because like, again, if you don't know where you're at and you don't know what you're walking around on, you're out of control. You know, you literally don't have any power in your own human spirit, right? And it's like everyone took time zones for granted because most people don't travel 15 miles outside of their hometown. I've been fortunate to be able to travel around this place and like play music or whatever. But like, it's like, dude, shit is different when you travel to a different place. But nobody talks about it. Nobody says, "Hey, what's it like at like 6 o'clock at your place over here? And what's the sun look like?" Nobody talks about that. It's almost like a subject that's never even been broached, right? And you're like, like, ever since like everybody like most of the cats in this, we start calling people. It's like, hey, is it noon? Is the sun over you where you're at? Yes. And eventually over time we were figured out, well, I think the circuit looks right. It's noon over you. We got this, right? And now we're figuring out, it's like we've based our whole evaluation of our experience on maps. Yep. Mercator and or Gleason
right,
and or
which are man-made, which are totally man-made. Totally man-made, and we know we've been getting screwed. Yeah, we've been getting screwed by the same people time and time again.
All right, so I've been around for almost 60 fucking years, and I've been seeing maps my whole life, right? And I've seen old maps, and I've seen maps from the 40s, I've seen maps from the 50s, the 60s. How come they always fucking different? How come they always different? The land masses are always changing a little bit, or they got some other kind of bullshit going on with it.
No, they're just like, well, we just learned some new stuff. We learned a new, it's just like, no, they know exactly where the land masses are. They just move them around and fuck with your head. Literally.
Well, people trust them. People trust them, man. They trust them because remember the teacher? Well, you guys probably don't, but I do. I remember they had these fucking pull down maps up there at the blackboard.
I read them, yeah.
And when they were going to tell you about something that was going on, or where something was at, they'd pull down this map and say, "This is the place right here," and point to it. They have a little wooden stick with a rubber tip on it, and they point to shit on the map. I guarantee they don't do that now. You could run a map of fucking Looney Tune land in front of people today. They wouldn't know if it was real or not. I'm serious, man. I got to tell you about this today, man. I had a cashier at the supermarket. She must be new, but I don't know how the fuck she ever got the job. You see what like a dead person's eyes look like? This person had
every day,
like a dead person's eyes
every day.
And there was two people ahead of me. The one guy was finishing up, and she's going to sit there and have a long drawn out conversation with the motherfucker about, these new car keys and how you got to have them and how her mother locked herself out, blah, 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 and all this other fucking retarded shit that had nothing to do. And I'm like, I left my Jeep running. I just came in for, let's go. So I looked up there and I says, "Hey." And she finally turned and looked at me. I says, "How about a little more ringy and less talky? Let's get this fucking show on the road, And I heard the mom behind me tell her kids, she goes, "Oh, he was the only one brave enough to say anything." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Anyway, then you get this next lady there, and she going to dick around with that and pick and choose out of what she rings up so it can go in the right bag. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Told the lady behind me, I says, I guarantee you, I says, we got in the wrong line. The other line had been stacked up all the way to the deli. It was gone now. So I left. I got my shit and I went over to the next counter. The lady that had been behind me, she went over to another one.
Yeah.
I rang up, got done.
And I will tell you, like,
now wait, this ain't over. Went through, saw the lady that was behind me just finishing up at the other register. Meanwhile, I looked over. I walked over to that lady. I said, look, you made the right choice. I said, that broad right there is still fucking around with that same woman. She's still fucking around with that same goddamn woman right there. Look at that. Now I know that manager up there. I'm gonna talk to her, man. I'm gonna say, listen, babe, I don't know what y'all got going on there, but I fucking orangutan on Thorazine could have done a better job.
And I will tell you, as a transition for that, is like Crum and I have been like studying the psychoanalytical aspect of like the layout of like most of the people that are into FE or globe skeptics or whatever. And we've talked hours, like thousands of hours on this. And most of the consistencies are, a lot of us have traveled. A lot of us have been to a lot of places. A lot of us love maps. A lot of us are secret cartographer lovers. Like I love maps. I even love the fucking globe. I wanted globes like when I was still globy, right? I just like to know where I was at. And you go through all of this stuff, and when you find like people that don't even know where the next town is 10 miles over because they haven't left, then you discover the gulf of not understanding where it is that you live. And it's like literally you don't even know how to drive to like a town that's 30 miles away from you. You know, like it's crazy. And I haven't been all over the world. I've been to Northern Europe. I've been to like all over the States. I've been to Canada, but I haven't been to Africa. I haven't been to Australia. I haven't been to like a lot of places south, all points south.
The natural instinct of any creature is to explore the bounds of its area of existence.
Man, you would think, right?
But they've got people so fucking dumbed down and so beat down that they're just basically non-thinking meat suits that are just functioning, barely functioning. You know,
they want
it don't matter where they're at. They don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's like China
They
is.
want to know what the point is. As soon as you bring it up to them, they're like, "What's the point?" And then you have to go all the way back to the flat Earth and all the way back to, and then having to drive that point home to them. It's like I've got to read it to you from page 1. You're not ready. Like I can't.
I know that's what I have to do. And I'm like, well, I feel bad for you. And it's like this, man. There were a lot of dudes that hit the beaches at Normandy on D-Day. There was really a lot of guys. And not everybody made it off those landing craft. Everybody hoped they did. And I'm sure everybody wanted to save themselves. But we're at a point right now that if you don't get it, that you're getting shot at, fuck you, go ahead and catch a bullet. I'm sorry for you. There will be casualties. The time for waking people up is over. You're not going to wake them up. If they haven't come to it by now, they're not going to be. And unfortunately, in every war, there are casualties. And the way I look at it like that, and it sounds cold-hearted, but better them than me.
Yeah, and I get, and then listen to this one, and that's the transitioning right from you, Saab, is like I'm going to be very hobo speak here. Not the first volley, but a volley was thrown in the year 2020. An event happened. A volley happened. People are asked, well, no one's done anything to me. Yeah, they actually did. A volley was thrown. You don't understand what the volley was, but you were manipulated into accepting the volley, and you have been hit by a, dare I say, weapon, and the volley happened. So now I hope with all my dearest of love in my heart that you continue to live, but the volley happened. And when I hear people say they haven't hurt me, yeah, they did. And they might have been doing it for a very long time.
Yes, They were so scripted and so cliche in how they did it. They got all the entertainers, they got the football players, they got the TV people, they got the radio people, they got the hip hop artists. They even enticed you with some herb. They were like, "Hey, go ahead, get that Cocoa Krispies inside of you, and we'll give you a free joint." What? Blunts, what they called it, blunts for this. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to mess up your stream
I
tonight,
got you.
Saab. I don't want to mess your stuff up. But dude, in Europe, they were like, "Yo, you do it, we'll give you a prostitute." You had dudes out there, and I'm like, "Yo, don't you see? They'll give you donuts for it. They'll give you burgers for it." I was like,
There's
"This
a
government
burger
is
element.
so against giving stuff away." Yeah, they were like, "Yo, we'll give you a hamburger if you go ahead and put this poison in you." And so
they
people
didn't.
went ahead and was like, "Well, I was going to get it anyway." Yeah, and I'm like, "Yo, dude," I said, "It worked. It worked." I said, "I can't even be mad at them. I
And
can't
Vlad,
even get mad at them because they did what we knew they were going to do."
they didn't have, and the people creating the volley didn't have to lift a fucking finger. That's the craziest part of the whole thing. That's the craziest part.
They did it through the television. Okay, let's get real. They did it through the television. And I mean, and I remember how it first started, and it was showing these people in China saying some mysterious illness.
People falling out of buildings and like
they
falling
were
out of
falling
vans.
over, and people in hazmat suits were picking them up off the streets and shit,
Crazy
right?
people. Crazy people.
And then it wasn't but a couple of weeks. They said, "Oh, the first case of this has been reported in the U.S." And I said, "Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Watch."
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen it right there. I mean, I watched the propaganda come from it, and I'm seeing the same thing with they got another current one that they're working with, and we're seeing that already. Oh, the first case of this has happened, and okay, right. Let me guess, 33 cases, right? Holy crap. Every time.
If I could say something to like everyone's listening out here, like that's obviously like in the family here, it's like we did what we could do. We did as much as we could do to say the thing. And honestly, you don't carry any guilt with yourself anymore because we said it. And we took a lot of bullets for saying it. And now all we can do is just watch how it unfolds. There's nothing else we can do. There's nothing
a guy jumps into a river. A guy jumps into a river. You throw him a life ring, right? And he pushes it away. And so you think, "Oh man, he didn't understand." And you throw him another life ring and he doesn't grab it. You don't jump in the cold water after that motherfucker. He wants to drown. Okay. Adios, bitch. Adios, bitch.
Dude, we sent them a whole boat. We sent them a whole boat. We sent the whole Coast Guard after them, and they couldn't figure it the fuck out.
Oh, they couldn't wait to see our boats. They couldn't wait.
Exactly. Like, it's crazy.
Look at them. They wanted to take those of us. They wanted to take us and have us put in camps, have our basic human rights removed from us, make it so that we weren't able to purchase items and stuff that we needed, right? Because of their fucking fear that they got from the TV.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Like am I gonna
feel bad for those people? Am I gonna feel bad for people that wanted to do that to me? Fuck no.
No, I mean you can't feel bad about it because you did say we all screamed from mountaintops. We all did. And my favorite meme from that whole thing was like the Amish. They were like, "Well, we didn't have the thing happen to us because we don't have TVs." That was hobo speak. But it's just like you know, like in understanding how that manipulation works and like gaslighting and everything else. Now we can see it. I guarantee it. 90%, if not 99% of this chat that's watching this tonight, we can see it. There's no way they can gaslight us ever again. It's over. It's over. Their little trick, their little wizardry trick is done. It's done. It's over.
Who is this little sniveling fuckhole in here? Robot-tacular. Who the fuck is this guy?
Now, do we have a?
What's he talking? What kind of shit's he talking?
Oh, he's just been in here talking shit. He's like a one-man band. He's like his own little fucking cheering section. Obviously a Glober of some kind.
Come on in, Robot. Let's talk.
Yeah,
we'll
link's
have a nice
pinned up there,
You know
conversation.
bitch.
what? Those Globers are useless. They're sperm. Let me tell you something, man. These guys, all they want to do is combat us. They have nothing of value to bring to the table. Absolutely
No.
nothing. They have nothing. Nothing. And like I mentioned on my show yesterday, they're yesterday's news, man. Those guys just step over them and just keep it moving because these guys, they're ghosts. They bring
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
of value.
No, they're still with the same bullshit about ships going over a fucking curve and bullshit like that from
I
back in
know. It's
2015
like,
or something.
it's like
Like,
you go.
god damn, shut up, bro.
My favorite thing is like the anti-flat earthers was like, I'm just
Oh
like,
my God.
you don't bring any evidence. I was like, dude, I got a mountain of evidence. Do you want to look at it?
You know what?
No,
I
no,
don't need
I'm just
it.
like, come on, dude.
Wait. I don't need it. Okay? Has anybody ever stepped outside of their fucking house and seen, witnessed, or experienced a globe Earth? No, you
we
have
haven't.
no firsthand observation of a globe Earth, right? And the reason you glom onto fucking sunrise and sunset is because when you were a little kid, you asked mommy or daddy, where does the sun go at nighttime? And they said, well, it goes over the globe. Do you know why they told you that? Because some other dumb fuck told them that.
Yeah, over the course of
Okay?
generations.
Yep.
That's why that's the
Over
first
generations.
goddamn thing you jump to. If you had never been told you live on a rotating ball of water in a void flying around or whatever, even just a ball that's not moving. If nobody had ever told you that, you would never have any experience or observation to even lead you into the direction of thinking.
Yeah,
At the very least, you would think it was a fucking cylinder. If you were dumb enough to not really understand how your eyes work.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like when you ask about observations and or scientific method, it's like, well, do you have eyes? Can you look? Do you have the ability to look, or do you have the ability to smell or touch or anything like that?
Right.
Immediately deflection to some sort of side topic, which is like some sort of like, I guess it's some sort of activation to their indoctrination, or like their ego is attached to their degree. And like I have a good bit of fun because I actually do have a degree in biology. I actually learned the scientific method. I'm not exactly proud of the indoctrination that happened. I got some good scientific method shit out of going through that, but like I can spot it from a fucking mile away. I'm like you're getting laid because you think that you're smarter than everybody else because you got a degree on the wall. You're doing that, aren't you? You're like your whole fucking ego is based on how you were brought up and believing how this world is, and like
you're so
you can't
smart
fight
for
that
knowing
shit.
your planets.
Sickening.
You can't
You're
fight
so
that
smart
shit.
for knowing your planets and shit. Oh, I got to show you all this thing. I got to show you this thing. It's funny as hell.
Yeah, sickening.
Let me grab this. I was going to show this earlier and I forgot until just now. All right, let me see. How do we expand that fucking thing? Let me see. Need to. Ooh. I wish these things had a way to make them go back. Let's see if I can. There. All right. It's not easy. Let me present. This was pretty good.
It's not easy being cheesy.
Not a bit. Not a bit.
Oh yeah. I love this.
How all you glow-tards doing? Just wanted to check in from how you were doing when y'all learned about me when you were just a wee little one.
What the hell?
And you were too stupid to question anything. And, just wanted to check in and make sure you still believed in me. You still believe in me, right? You better still believe in me. Because if you don't, I'm gonna call you names. Like, you still live in your mama's basement, and you better not breed. That's okay. I know you still believe in me. Hey.
That's pretty good, man. That's about how it is.
It's kind of weird. It's like grown adults that can't give up childhood stuff. Yeah,
I know.
That's kind of where like I know it's
Star Wars, Star Trek.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like everyone listening here, we are already there. There may be a few people in the chat that aren't there yet. Like I don't know this robot guy or whatever he is, whatever. But it really is just like it's giving up Santa Claus. That's really what it is. Just giving up Santa Claus and getting on with fucking reality. Open your eyes and do some measurements and like, you know, get on with it. You know, and like I don't like it's like watching little babies, you know, what do anything. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like grow the fuck up. You know, and like understand what your eyes do.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna be able to put that
And
on my fucking.
what it is also what they seem to forget is that we were all fooled. It's not like they were fooled, or it's not that we were fooled and we just snapped out of it. No, all of us were fooled, whether we recognize the joke or not. Like we all fell for the hook. They just keep falling for it, and it's like, hey, you damn idiot, stop smashing your head against the wall. The shit don't work. You know what I'm saying? And when we start to pick other things up alongside with it, it's like, man, we're leaving these dudes in the dust. Sometimes I sit back and I wonder, what are these guys learning? You know what I'm saying? Like we're learning something new every single something new and something that's true.
I got something for you.
I got one too. After you go.
Here you go. We stop. We gotta go. Well, damn it. All right. All right. I love fucking with these people in these groups too, man. They're funny. All right. Check this out.
Oh, that's exact one I was going to play. Never mind. Awesome. I love this one.
But Santa has to be real. Was that kid dropping a deuce there or what?
The original video.
It sounded look like it.
Oh my god, it's so good. I mean, that's really what it is. Like not being able to let go of the ball. It's a childish thing. It's a thing that most adults don't even understand, even know how to think about it. You know, because they've been lost in the matrix their whole life. And like for some reason, this weird collection of us, whether it's Gen Xers or like I don't even know, but like some of us were we didn't take the MK Ultra stuff. It just didn't happen for us. And I somehow escaped grade school, high school, college, even, you know, and didn't carry on that tradition of repeating stuff, you know, right? And so like
Ryan, oh, some little battle going on.
I think
No, I'm not saying that Mark Sargent and my mother slept together. I'm just saying that's my last name too.
The education that we got. Ryan, what's going on, man? I think that much of the education that we got, it just.
Holy fucking God,
Yes,
Ryan.
that's
Every
me.
time Vlad starts talking, you interrupting, Brian.
So
Start over.
Yeah, I think that much of the education that we got. Yeah, I think that much of the I think that much with us as we grow up. This is why I feel the flat earth makes so sense, because I know that's what happened to me. That much of us, especially when it came to me, yeah, you could as much as you want.
You're roboting.
Convince yourself that
you got some roboting.
You're
going on
roboting really bad, man.
Save that thought before you get better service.
Yeah. I'm gonna get better reception. You guys carry on.
Don't worry,
No,
we'll put the action
I
on
want to hear what you had to say because I'm getting ready to shut it down here. It's 2.5 hours.
Okay.
2.5 hours is a long time.
There is one thing. There's one thing I want to show Sav in regards to the apparent position of the sun versus a reflection of it versus coffee caustic versus like, what are we seeing exactly? I think this is a really good one for people that use their eyes a lot. And I think it's important to just show it. I know this show is about UFOs, and I think this is part 1 of 10 shows for UFOs, because I think we're going to come back to this. But I want to show something that I have observed, and I've got a lot of people that have observed it over the course of time. And this was what broke me through.
Great. Let's see it.
All right, I got it. I just wanted to present it a little bit.
It's going to be a 10-parter if you don't learn to get a little more brevity.
No, this is literally a minute long. Sorry.
This is literally a minute long. Sorry.
Yeah, let me do that, and then
I'll make it big. I'll make it big.
Nice.
Crazy. Oh, it's a mirage. Oh man.
I said.
So I like the word nesting. Just like nesting is like what I've been using lately on observations of looking at the sun. Whether that's the apparent position or the actual position, it doesn't matter. You can tell that it's backlit, front lit. Clearly, if you use your eyes, you're looking at that's nested in there. Yeah, and so like we're talking about a local sun, whatever it is. Like if it's projected from a second position, I don't know. I'm not claiming anything, but it looks like it's nested in there, and I've caught stuff like this too.
There's
And
one thing we know about the sun 100%, and it does narrow it down. It's not a giant nuclear fusion hydrogen ball 93 million miles away, because that's just fucking stupid.
Retarded.
Okay. I defy anybody to demonstrate to me how 2 of the lightest gases known, or any gas for that matter, will coalesce together into one cohesive mass for any fucking reason outside of containment. And then it's still not cohesive. It's all independent.
Yeah, it's so much easier to look at it. What we actually know about it is. What does it look like? It's right there. Okay.
I don't know, man. I stare at it. Sometimes it almost looks like a ring to me.
I actually I sun gaze like all the time. It doesn't hurt my eyes. It feels good. It doesn't do anything to me. And it's like, look, guys, learn your eyes. Learn what your eyes do, what your senses do. And I'm like, I don't think like half of these anti-flat earthers even have any senses at all. If they do, they've forgotten how to use them. And it's really weird to me. It's fucking weird.
The sun where I live in Florida does all kinds of crazy shit. Like, it's ridiculous. Like 1 minute it's like the sky's completely pink and the sun is real big and it's just like everything's wide open. Next thing you know, it's like you see purples, blues, all kinds of different colors and stuff. It's
there's a couple of things you can do. You can close off one eye and you'll get like a black white effect on it when you're looking at it. I look at it generally from a 4th floor loft building. Like it's the angle is enough. There's enough atmosphere that I can actually look directly at it. It doesn't hurt too much. I can't look at it overhead. It's a little bit too bright. I can look at it from the right or the left, but I can look at it like at angle over here. And I'm getting like all sorts of things. I'm getting like radiation sort of signals. I'm getting like black and white stuff, but it doesn't blind me. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't do anything to me. I'm just looking at it. But we've been told our whole life, so you don't look at the sun. You actually can look at the sun. You can do it. And it's actually, if you find the right time of day, you actually like have a really nice sensation about it. It hasn't killed me. I'm not
DB.
No.
Is that NDB talking shit?
No.
No, we had Mark Sargent told Boston Ray that he was probably stoned. He was probably high.
Ah, gotcha. Copy.
And I can attest to
You
that.
know, it's a holiday.
He probably was. He was fucking.
You need to go to bed. You need to go to bed, Sav, right?
Yeah, I got to get up at the crack of ass.
Hi, Wendy.
Go work on this
Crack
shit.
of ass?
Hopefully, yeah, it's like
Crack of ass. Do you set your alarm clock to that?
To the crack of ass.
Yeah.
anything before a decent hour to get up, like 7 o'clock is fuck that, you know. But
Hey,
anyway,
Sav, can we use this moment because we got a bunch of people on here? This is going to be a really active weekend. If we're going to have Vlad is on with Weiss on Saturday and with Gene Edited. If you got something this weekend, can announce it. We're going to like this weekend's going to be packed with FE stuff. So like, do you have something in mind that you're going to do, or you just go on whenever you want to go on, right? I know that about you. You just go on wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I'll be just like, yeah, and lady's like, aren't you gonna do a show tonight? I'm like, nah, I don't feel like it. It's like, they're already fucking with my shit so bad. It's like, what the fuck, it's crazy. I'll see, I got so many subscribers this month, and it'll say, 3 less than last month. And over the time period that I've seen this increase in subscribers, I'm not seeing an increase in subscriber numbers on my fucking thing, although like right now, I mean, I'm not for the amount of people, subscribers that I even have to have 176. We had a little bit more than that earlier. That's pretty good for this channel,
Well, can I speak to that though, like really quick? It's Nicole and I figured out something like really fast about like this. Like, firstly, I think that you can add about 2 zeros to either your followers, hits, and/or views. Firstly, but secondly, does a Ko-fi bot come up before 1,000 views? What did you find out about?
Oh no, I just like it was like one of those old social media SEO things where it doesn't really start counting. Like the bot doesn't come up unless there's over 1,000 people. In the chat or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, we already know
I can't confirm that.
Yeah, and we already know we're being censored. So, like, I would suggest there's 1 or 2 zeros past your views.
Well, it's like inflation, like 100 years ago, you had to add two zeros.
I don't like to be predictable. Keep them guessing.
Sav, you're definitely not predictable. So I think
unpredictable, dangerous man.
All right, so we're gonna pop off. I want to announce Vlad's on with Weiss and Gene Edited Saturday. I don't know what your next thing is, Sav. We do the thing on Sunday with the sombrero.
Right.
Yeah, and we have a special guest on Tinfoil Sombrero.
Should be a fun
Sunday.
weekend. We're already getting data back from like real-time data, like insofar as like time zones and everything else.
Right. I'm like already 10 minutes past the amount of time I wanted to be on here tonight. Can we speed
all right, love you, buddy. All
right. Wrap it up.
Right.
Thank you, Sav.
Vlad, you got anything coming up you want to talk about?
Who, me? I got nothing. I got nothing in the foreseeable future. But
all right.
I usually go live at least once every weekend. Who knows?
Cool.
I'll probably do it this weekend. We'll see.
So you guys go over to Boston Ray, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Ironworks, Vlad, you got anything coming up in the near future here? I know you do.
Yeah, so we're going to be on we're going to be in the Tinfoil Sombrero here. What is it, tomorrow?
Sunday, 7 p.m.
All right, we're there Sunday, Lowry and Company, and I get to be the guest. I appreciate that. And then I'm also going to be on with Riku Swaron and Flat Earth Dave this Saturday.
Nice.
And Gina Edited, I believe.
Oh,
so that's what's going on there this
cool.
Yeah, that's what's going on there this Saturday. So I guess I got a little bit of a schedule in front of me.
Yeah.
And then Flat Earth Friday, of course.
course.
Yeah, and like again, I just want to throw this in here real quick. It's going to be a big weekend.
Thank God it's flat.
Yeah, thank God it's flat, and it's going to be a big weekend, guys. Like, come to all these things because we're getting a flood of information.
Yeah.
So
It
like,
is exciting.
hang out with us this weekend. Love you guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having me on. I'm Boston Ray, and that's my slice of the.
Right on, guys.
Thanks, Sav.
All right, y'all. See you next time. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I gotta hit the fucking bed. So as we like to say on here, don't forget the Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and fire his ass. He'll probably kill you. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Say goodnight, Something Wong. And he does it in his own special way. Good night, everybody.
I